Yeah.
No.
But my
Do you know how much they retailed out when they came out? £1,700.
Yeah, I thought they were doing. My parents bought one back in the day. They bought not one of them, but they bought one with 2 speakers on each side.
Yeah, I know the one. The rotate.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, as you walk around the room, it follows you. What's the point of that? If you're walking up to go and make a cup of tea, you're not going to watch the telly, are you?
No,
Alex,
it actually follows you. What?
Just quickly, when you're talking about your arcade games and stuff, have you got a link to a YouTube video of any of them for the Twitch stream?
Yeah, just go on my YouTube channel. You know what it is, don't you?
No, I can't remember
you
now.
telling me you're not subscribed?
Did I subscribe? I can't remember. I'm subscribed to loads, man.
Nintendo Arcade. I've just put a new one up yesterday, Game Room Tour.
Yeah, I replied, didn't I?
Yeah, it's cool.
Have you got a picture of Mario as your thing?
Yeah.
With
like Game of
holding
Thrones.
a hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, Mario.
It's me. Nostalgia Collection PlayStation.
That's not me.
Just the wrong thing then.
Bloody hell,
Yeah,
you can't.
Fucking PlayStation. No one.
Game Room Tour. Oh,
That's
we go.
it.
Yeah.
Number 8 should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Is he down south? That guy?
Kent.
Yeah. I thought so. He didn't sound northern.
No.
Where's the furthest you've been?
What for a tour? I've been to Swindon.
That's not far, is it?
No, it's not that far. Just trying to think, Kent.
You haven't been up north then?
I've got to do one. There's 2 guys I've got to do. There's one who's got one of the biggest collections in the world. But
really?
He's actually, he's in Portsmouth, which is not far, thank God.
Portsmouth?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. Not that far from me.
No. I've got another guy in Newcastle wants me to go up there.
Oh, that's a long way to go, isn't it?
I know. Aye, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Your van get there?
Mate, my van has been to Belgium and back to pick up games.
Colin, you don't know what Alex drives. He drives a what is it? Well, you call it a sandwich machine?
Yeah, it's like a little. You know those little things in James Bond films that Bond usually goes over ramps with and destroys and gets chased around the towns in India. It's about the size of a Mini, but it's a van.
Awesome.
Right,
shall we start?
Yeah.
Are we having Twitch again?
Yep. So we'll go Colin, Stunty, then Alex. You ready?
Yeah.
Cool. And a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Hello and welcome to Mojo Radio, episode 413 for Sunday, the 19th of February 2017. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby317, and joining me today is...
I'm here to request the immediate cessation of hostilities against Tobacco Doc. It's Kaliwali.
I haven't got a clue what he's going on about. It's number 1 Stuntmaster.
And it's Alex from Nintendo Arcade.
He's back again, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of you.
Colin, that's disgusting. Don't lick the plate.
Yeah, Colin.
Oh, I'm on video!
I should have streamed that. That would have been quite funny.
Now I can pick my nose without worrying about it.
He stopped his video. So yeah, we're back again. I've got Alex back again to talk about more retro stuff. Talking about Sky Skipper and some other retro gamey goodness. I had no idea about this Sky Skipper game really, and then I watched his video and he explained a little bit of it to me this week, and it was very interesting. So looking forward to hearing some of that and about some of your collection and things you've been doing and things you are doing.
Cool.
Which would be cool. Got Stunty to talk about old stuff as well. And Colin to talk about...
what I'm talking about.
Dude, you just got to talk about yourself. That's old. That's old enough, isn't it?
Oh, cheers. Talk about myself.
Can talk about coming to see me this past week as well, briefly. And, and Collie Wally's here to talk about Heroes of the Storm.
Among other things.
Among other things. So we'll get straight into it. So I think we'll start off with Alex this week. I want to hear about Sky Skipper, how it came about, because I thought the story was quite interesting, and just about your collection in a bit more detail and what got you into it and stuff.
Well, a little insight into me. If you go back, my first experiences with video games, the first ever video game I ever played was Space Invaders. And I remember queuing up around the local swimming baths to play it with loads of other kids. And, people talk about new games, new graphics now. Back then, this was a completely new experience. It wasn't just the actual game, the actual cabinet. It was like as if it just landed out of space. We'd never seen anything like it as kids. The artwork, the kind of way they did the half mirror and the way the game reflected into that, it kind of gave it a depth that you, as a kid, you couldn't work out. The sounds, everything was just incredible. So I've got a lot of nostalgia for collecting arcade machines. So all from my 80s, I collected Sinclair Spectrum games. I've always brought games every week. I went to the shop, buy new Sinclair Spectrum games. And then I got into the Super Nintendo. And then I kind of got out of gaming, did a bit of traveling, lived in Sweden for 6 years, and came back, got married, and then kind of started delving back into it again with eBay appearing. Started looking on there for old arcade machines, and I saw Space Invaders. I thought, I've got to have that. And I put a bid on it. And I won it for 300 quid. And I couldn't believe it because I had nowhere to put it. So I rang my mate up, Neil, and I said, look, man, I just won this Space Invaders. You mind looking after it? He said, yeah. So went straight round to his. And kind of the collection just started from there. Getting onto the forums.
Now he's on to his fourth wife.
Yeah. Get onto forums, just seeing other like-minded people that are into the same stuff, and it just opened up a whole new world, And then I got my first Nintendo arcade machine, which was Donkey Kong Jr. And then I had a total fascination with Nintendo. I wanted to collect and look back at their history, and I found out there's some really unusual and rare games that not a lot of people knew about. And there was one game in particular called Sheriff, and it's a game I remember playing as a kid. And I thought, I've got to hunt this game down. I really want to get this game. But there was nothing on the internet at all about this game at all. No one had heard of it. There was an equivalent in America called Bandido, exactly the same game, but it was licensed by a company called Exidy. And they were quite common, but to find a Nintendo Sheriff, anywhere in the world was just so rare. No one had even heard of it. And I just set out just to find this game. And eventually I found a collector in Belgium that had it. And he didn't want to sell, but I kept hassling him. Eventually we agreed a price, and we came to the price of £2,500. That sounds a lot. But, when you're in this hobby, people sell and buy games for a lot more than that. And because not a lot of people had heard of this game, I thought I'd got a good deal. And because of its rarity as well. So I set off my little van, drove all the way over to Belgium, met this guy, Bruno, had an amazing collection of arcade machines. And he sold it to me, picked it up, and drove it all the way back. I posted it on Facebook, and everyone went crazy for it. It was like, I've never seen anything like it before. And I found out this is the first game that Shigeru Miyamoto ever worked on. So he did all the artwork for it. He designed the game, but he didn't do the code for it. Nintendo, at that time, around 1979, got a third party called Ikegami to do all their coding. So games like Donkey Kong, you think is actually a Nintendo game, is actually coded by a company called Ikegami. The first real true Nintendo game is Donkey Kong Jr. That's the first in-house Nintendo game, designed and coded by Nintendo. Everything before that was coded by Ikegami. So it opens up a whole can of worms for me, because there's like 10 arcade machines that they released before Donkey Kong. And I thought, man, I've got to hunt these down. This is so cool. So I just got into just hunting these rare games down. Space Fever, Space Launcher, which I own. There's only one of them we know of in the world, which I own. Sheriff, there's only 4 known uprights of Sheriff in the world, and I own that. I've got a Sega Sheriff, because Sega and Nintendo worked together around the late 70s. Sega distributed a lot of Nintendo games. So I've got a really rare Sega Sheriff game, which not a lot of people know about. People always think Sega and Nintendo were at loggerheads for years, but they weren't. They worked together. And then there was one other game that I wanted, and it was called Sky Skipper. And again, there was nothing on the internet about this game at all. Yet the game was dumped into MAME. The ROMs were dumped into MAME, so you could play it through MAME. But there was no pictures of arcade machines. There was no artwork. Nothing on this game whatsoever.
So how would it have been dumped onto MAME then? It must have come from somewhere.
Well, I'll get into that in a little bit. Let me just, because that's really interesting, and that's part of a story we've actually left out, and for a very good reason, because we could get someone into trouble for it. But I'm at the point now where I've said to my partner in America, we should tell this half of the story because it needs to be told. So I did search the internet, and I found a Swedish guy who reckoned he had found a Sky Skipper PCB. So back in the late 70s, early 80s, arcade games came on boards, PCBs, with all the ROMs on, and you just slotted the game into the arcade machine and the game come up. This guy reckoned he had a Sky Skipper PCB, the only one in the world. But the weird thing with his board is that it had been modified to play Popeye by Nintendo, and he was trying to re-engineer it back to Sky Skipper, which is what it would have been originally, and he hadn't done it. And I said to my mate Mark, who repairs all my PCBs and stuff, I said, look, I want to buy this PCB. It's really rare as rock and all shit. He said, what are the chances of you re-engineering it back to Sky Skipper? He said, not a fucking chance. Not without the schematics, not without the manual. You ain't got a chance. So I left it. And then the weirdest thing happened 4 months later. Because I'm on UK VAC, I'm on the forum, I'm big in the arcade community. We go on a lot of raids, which is basically old arcade amusements that have been closed down, and operators that used to run these amusements have a load of PCBs left and they can't get rid of. And we go up there and just basically clear them out. We give them a load of money, but we clear them out. And most times out of 10, they ain't got a clue what they're worth. So you've got games in there like Discotron, Qbert, Robotron, all these rare classic 80s arcade games. Go on, Paul.
Just to say, didn't you go to one raid? Well, I mean, it sounds terrible when you say raid. One of these places, like, and some of the machines, they really, they smell really bad.
Oh God, you wouldn't believe the place where I found this Sky Skipper board. It was just a shithole. The rats and everything everywhere. But we got there was 8 of us. There was like a consortium of collectors. We had a fucking load of cash on us. We saw the collectors. He was actually a really nice old guy, and I felt sorry for him because this was his living. Right. And he's finally passing it over, And my mate's passing his boards down. He's on the ladder, and he pulls out this board, Popeye. And he fucking hates Popeye. He calls it Poopeye. He said, yeah, I actually like that. So I looked at it, and straight away, I look at it, and because I see the Swedish guy's board, I look at the code, and it's TNX1, which is Sky Skipper.
Did you say anything?
Well, yeah, straight away, because the weirdest thing was, me and Ollie were joking on the way up. I said, this is no lie, guys. I said to Ollie on the way up, there'd be nothing for me there. What are the chances of me finding any Nintendo stuff? He said, you might find a Sky Skipper. And this was a joke on the way up.
That's really funny.
And I fucking find it. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it. All wrapped up. It'd never been used.
Wow.
Wrapped up, and I couldn't believe it. So with this board, I'm cutting a really long story short because it is a long story. I went to my mate Mark, who's a brilliant engineer. He worked on Pink Floyd's studio in Hampton here. He said, what are your chances now of re-engineering this? We've got 2, because when you've got 2 of something, you can look at the other board and see how they've done things. Do you know what I mean? So with that, he was able to re-engineer it back to its original form, which was Sky Skipper. And then I put the video out, and then it went live. Nintendo Life got hold of it. It went round the world. It got really big. It's had over 12,000 hits now. I don't know, whatever. But the whole community were like, "How the fuck did you do that?" You know. And then a lot of Americans showed a lot of interest, and I thought, I don't really need 2 PCBs. What I really want to do is recreate the cabinet, so I can put my Skyscraper board in the cabinet and play it on a real arcade machine. And the only way to do that is to really get an American on board and get some contacts in America. So I got in contact with this other podcast, Broken Token, and the guy on there, I met him on the Skype, and he decided to buy the other board. And he bought it for £2,500, right? Now, it cost me £1,000 to re-engineer this board. And it's cost me 500 quid to do all the artwork, because I'm doing all the artworks as well. So I've made a little bit of money, but there's a lot that's gone into it. And with his contacts, he's managed to get hold of Billy Mitchell, Walter Day. And
Billy Mitchell.
Billy Mitchell.
With his mullet.
Yeah, that's it. And they're on board. They helped us out big time. And Billy's got some amazing contacts, because back in 1982, I think it was, when he broke the world record on Donkey Kong and he got on the front cover of Time magazine, he was invited to Nintendo of America.
We got a kill screen over here.
Yeah. And he said he actually played Sky Skipper at NOA. And we were like, wow, really? Are you serious? Is actually one still there? He said, yeah. Let me have a chat with the guys at NOA, and I can see if I can get a meeting with them, with you. And it's like, fucking hell, I can't believe this. And he did. We got in touch with the chief executive of the operations at NOA, and he said, yeah, come up. He heard about our project. He couldn't believe what we had done. He said, come up, and you can see the only Sky Skipper left in the world. So I couldn't go, but my partner who bought the other PCB went. He took a day out at Nintendo of America. You can see it's all on the website, guys. If you go to skyscraperproject.com, all the pictures are there. So my mate Whitney spent the whole day at Nintendo of America. He was shown around all the employees' area there, where they have all the latest Nintendo stuff. He wasn't allowed to take any pictures, unfortunately. But they took him over to the warehouse, took him to a white room. There was literally just a white room, and as soon as Whitney walked in that room, there was Sky Skipper, the only Sky Skipper in the world. And the story is that they only made 12 cabinets, and they were all put out on location. They were play tested by students at colleges in America, and they didn't do well. You know, it took 20,000 credits, Sky Skipper, compared to Donkey Kong, which clocked it at 100,000, and they decided not to release it. So they destroyed all the uprights except for the one that's in Nintendo of America today, and that serial number on the back there, and you'll see it on the project on the website, is 001. So it's the first one they ever made. So with that, Whitney was allowed to scan the whole machine. He took cameras in there, scanners. He scanned the marquee, side art, the bezel, and the control panel. And with all of that scanned and vectorized, we can recreate the artwork. So we can recreate the cabinet for ourselves and have the original hardware running in the cabinet. And it's going to be revealed at the Kentucky Fried Gaming event in America this year in June. And we're hoping to have the UK reveal here at Play Expo Manchester in October. So yeah, that's kind of a long story short on the Sky Skipper, because it is a long story. It goes into a lot more detail. If you go on the website, guys, it's all there. But it's an incredible story. So this is basically an unreleased game. It was never released by Nintendo. It was play tested. It didn't fare well, so they cancelled it. And I have 2 working boards, which is incredible.
I think it's amazing that someone can reverse engineer something back. I think that's crazy. You know,
it is, because there were security chips on the board that we had to get round, and as soon as you took them off, it fucked the whole code up. So Mark had to get round that, and it wasn't difficult. It took him about 3 months, but he'd done it.
Wow.
And it's incredible that we actually managed to do it. And I played it. It's quite a fun little game. It's not the best game. It's not like, it hasn't got the depth of Donkey Kong, but it's a fun little game. And for me, it's all about the history. You know, I just love being part of it. It's incredible. So with that, I mean, that's my main project that's going on this year. I've got other, like Sheriff's a rare game. I've got that as well. As I say, there's only 4 of them in the world. And I love Super Nintendo collecting. I've got over 150 box Super Nintendo games. I'm always playing them. I love modern games as well. I just love gaming. You know, it's just a great hobby. I love all aspects of it. The community, you know, the artwork, just everything, man. It's just great.
Awesome. So how many arcade machines do you actually have?
I've had more. I have sort of slimmed it down a bit because it did take over at one point. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 10.
So you must have quite a big house then.
Got room for all of that?
I've built a games room down the end of the garden, which I've got 4 in. Someone gave me a summer house, which I erected last year. I've got another 4 in there.
Oh, wow.
And he lets you put them in there for free?
Put what in for free?
You said you got a summer house you built for someone.
Yeah, the woman up the road didn't want it. She said, if you can dismantle it, it's yours and take it.
Where's that now? In your garden?
In front of the games room.
Oh right, because I haven't been for a while.
Yeah. So I've got.
Oh right, you got another. That was where you were growing your turnips, wasn't it?
Where the fucking cats were having a shit. No, so I've just got.
Blimey, your missus must be going mad if you've got that in the garden.
No, she loves it. She's good as gold.
Well, is that because she can get rid of
What?
get rid of you down the bottom of the garden?
Yeah, no, she's good, man. She's cool. She knows what I'm like. If I wasn't into this, I'd be into motorbikes, and that'd kill me. So yeah, man.
Well, that's
where it's
interesting,
at.
man.
What happened to the other one you had? Have you still got that? The one with the 2 guns? Battle Shark.
Oh, Battle Shark. No, they were Nintendo games. So this is a game that Nintendo brought out in 1976. It's not a video game, so this is just before video games really hit off. It's basically, it runs a 16mm movie on a projector inside. Now, this is real primitive stuff, guys, but this is what Nintendo were doing in 1976. They actually had the game in a Japanese bowling alley in the early 70s, and it was a success. And to sort of commercialise on it, they actually make an arcade game of it, like Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt was around in the early 70s as well. It was like all those early clay pigeon games, if you can imagine. So basically, it's a film of sort of early Vietnam kind of war. There's a lot of boats and planes going on. And there's a solenoid inside, and your gun's just where it lights up on the back of the film. When you press the button, it will run into another film of the plane crashing. It's really difficult to explain, but if you have a look on the film, there's actually 2 images. One of the game of the plane flying around, and on the other half of the plane crashing. So when you hit the solenoid, it flicks a mirror, so you see the bottom half of the film. It's really clever stuff. I sold them because they were just too big, absolutely massive.
Oh, you actually have sold them then?
I have, mate. Honestly, I'm no film expert either, and I sold them to a guy who was into film. I got the film digitalised at the Amsterdam Film Institute, so I've got it on hard drive, but it's gone up to the arcade club. So if you guys, you've got to get up there. Webby, you haven't been up there yet, have you?
Yeah, whereabouts is this?
He doesn't like going
in Bury, Manchester. You have got to go.
That's a bit far up north for me, mate.
Well, we'll make a weekend of it, you know. Honestly, they've got all the modern stuff there. They've got pool table. The whole top floor is full of arcade machines. They've got VR.
It was on the telly, wasn't it? Because they did... what was it? What was the program it was on? It was to do with collectors or something or other.
Yeah.
And they did actually have the arcade club on it. And they, and then they went in...
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I can't remember what it was. I think it was called Collectaholics or something like that. It was.
Yes.
It was a BBC. It might still be.
Well, it wasn't. I'm glad it was on that and not the Hoarder program, because it's not. He's not a hoarder. It is like a proper place where you go. I mean, it's so popular. He's making so much money. People are up there every week. Honestly, guys, they've got everything out. All the classic 80s stuff. You know, all the Vector games. He's got all the kind of 4-player Turtles games, and then he's got pinballs. Paperboy, and then he's got like a VR section, so if all the guys want to play the Bond games, you can. An Oculus Rift's there, and they do like tournaments. It's just so cool. It really, you could spend a whole weekend there. I mean, I've been up there loads of times because I help work on the place, you know. But yeah, guys, I mean, we should do a weekend of it because it is so much fun. It really is. There's nothing like that in London. You know, you've got to go up to Manchester. It's only, 3.5 hours? It's not too bad. Get a hotel, Premier for the night. It's fucking awesome.
The way it's, I don't know whether we will ever get anything down south. I mean,
I thought we said that there was an arcade bar in London, like in the dodgy part of town or something.
Yeah, but it's nothing compared to the arcade club. I mean, arcade club is huge. You know, it's a proper. But yeah, this is more like a bar type thing. Paul's on about, and you've got the Four Quarters bar in Peckham.
Yeah,
which has got arcade machines, and I know the guys there as well. That's all right, but a lot of the games for me in there are these kind of gun games, which I'm not that into really. You know, for me, it's the classic era when it comes to arcade games, because I kind of got out the arcade sort of around 87, 88. I was pulling birds and, you know, doing drugs or whatever you do at that age. I had no interest in games at all towards the late 80s. And then until the Super Nintendo came out, and that was like, oh my God, they finally nailed it. Arcade games on your system, you know, that looked as good as the arcade.
So you were quite lucky, really, because as you said, you went to where the swimming bars and you played Space Invaders.
Yeah, I mean, my mate Tom. Yeah.
See, yeah, I don't remember much of that kind of thing, really. I mean, I didn't grow up. I mean, I didn't grow up that far away from you anyway. But I just don't remember. I don't remember any kind of arcades back in the day. The only time I ever remember seeing arcades is when you went on holiday. Yeah. Which I mean, when we used to go down to Cornwall.
Well, did you go? What about Little Hampton's Smarts? Little Hampton, you must have gone there.
No, I never went to Little Hampton back in the day.
No, because that was a big one. I remember like going in there when we were like 9 or 10. I mean, my mate Tom saw golf for the first time, and we walked past it, and the fucking thing's talking. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Games are now talking. It's like synthesized speech coming out, and that blew us away. That did.
See, I remember Star Wars. I remember seeing that and having the play on that, and that was awesome. It was like
Space Harrier. Remember that with the hydraulic chair?
I had Space Harrier on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, that's a good port, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you must remember it in the arcade.
Oh, yeah, I remember it later on. I don't remember it early days of the arcade. I mean, to be honest, the early days of the arcades, I don't really remember seeing arcades. Maybe I had quite a sheltered life when I was younger.
Well...
I mean, I remember my parents buying a Pong, what was the thing, the bat and ball on each side. It was like one went up,
Pong.
The other way, that's it. And we played that, and then you could do doubles. But I don't actually remember arcade machine, going to the arcades. And I think because I didn't really, to be honest, maybe I was a bit lucky, but we went abroad quite a lot. We didn't really do all these in the UK. So you didn't really see arcades on holiday.
No.
And it was like, all I remember of the arcade machines is when you went down to Fish and Chips. And you had the Fish and Chips.
You had the odd one in there.
Yeah, you had someone in there. And it was like, you used to go in there and you were quite young and you used to look at the yobs that were in there, which weren't really yobs, but you thought they were yobs because they were all hanging around the Fish and Chips machine, drinking their Coke. You know.
Yeah, well, they were seedy places back then, you know. I mean, you get an odd bloke hanging around, with a load of kids a lot of the time. It wasn't a great place to be, but I mean, we were just focused on the games. We loved it. My dad used to take me to a lot of Steam fairs because he loved Steam traction engines and shit like that. So there always used to be amusement and kind of gypsy fairground shit there, and loads of arcades. In Twickenham, you had an arcade called Razzle Dazzle where I used to go a lot later on. Sort of around 10, 12, I guess.
It sounds like a strip club, Razzle Dazzle.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke shop. Funny enough, they used to do costumes and used to go in and buy fake poo and remember Snappets. You know what I mean? Those fake poo. Yeah, stink bombs and shit like that.
Yeah, but they had that's like Bits and Bobs in Kingston then.
Yeah, it was like that. It was just like that, but they had arcade games in there. They had about 10, 20 games in there. That's when we used to go in there all the time. Let's see the latest game, And it's funny because when I hear you guys talk on the podcast, you're all striving for the next game, what's the latest graphics. It was like that as a kid, really. When a new game came in, it's like, oh my God, have you seen this guy? Yeah, they got a new game, let's get down there. And then the one you was playing like a month earlier, you got no interest all of a sudden, and that would lose money, and then they'd get rid of it the next week because it was all about money for them, wasn't it?
Yeah. What about you, Colin? Because, I mean, you're in America, so what was it like for you growing up with... Did you have arcade machines or what?
Well, so I grew up overseas with my dad's work a lot of the time. So my first experience gaming was living in China with a Super Famicom that somebody over there had. And then, I would always be going over to his house to play games, a friend of mine's. And then, eventually we got an American version of the Famicom, a regular NES. And speaking of, by the way, speaking about voices in games, my earliest recollection was the hockey game Blades of Steel on the regular.
Oh, yeah.
That had voice in it. Like when you would boot up the game, it would go Blades of Steel, and then there was nothing else. And you got to know that like the recording of the voice on that Nintendo cartridge was like half the data, probably half the capacity of the entire game cartridge.
Well, it's funny, Colin, that someone has been talking about on another podcast I've been listening to this week, and I always bypass that game, and I see it. I think Blades of Steel looks shit, but I've heard it's really, really good. It's a hockey game, isn't it?
To that, in between the periods, because there's 3 hockey periods, right? In a game of hockey, you got to play Gradius on the scoreboard. Nobody remembers that? Right. You would so it would go like
tiny.
In between the periods, like it would zoom in on the scoreboard and it would be Gradius. You remember that spaceship side scrolling?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Take control of that, play it. So that was even more fun than playing the actual hockey game. Was the halftime show of playing that game in between. But Blades of Steel was really good. And that's one of the ones I remember.
See, the NES was really big in America, and because that came just after the crash in America, which we didn't get over here in the UK, because we were all into the home computers, the BBC and the Sinclair Spectrum. We never even heard about it.
The great one with the...
No, didn't know any kids that had an NES over here. It was all Sinclair, BBC Micro.
See, like when I was a kid, I had one friend who had a NES. I had an Atari ST. And one of my other friends had a Commodore 664. So his was the house that we all went to, really, for games, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, for me, back in the day, I started on the Commodore 64. Well, actually, no. My parents bought that machine that you were going on about earlier. One goes up one way and the other one goes down the other way. It's like bat and ball sort of thing. And then my dad... I mean, he didn't earn not bad money back then. He bought one of the very first ever Commodore 64s that came out because they weren't actually properly released in this country. I wish I kept it, actually. Well, I thought, I don't know if I still got it, but it's made in Germany, so it's really rare.
I didn't like it. The only game that I liked on that, which I saw running, was Mission Impossible. I thought, yeah, that's cool. That looked really good.
See, the first game I got for the Commodore was there was Motormania, which was a car game, which was very basic graphics, and the other one was Grid Runner, and that was done by what's his name, Llamasoft dude. You know him. You went to his house.
Oh, Jeff Minter.
Jeff Minter, yeah, and that was. I thought that was awesome. But the thing is, all my friends, they all had Spectrums. But the only thing that always put me off about the Spectrums is when you used to load the games up. You used to hear all the.
Oh, I love all that.
Didn't hear that on the Commodore because the Commodore was quiet because it had its special. The thing with the Commodore, it had its own tape deck. Didn't it?
Yeah,
the tapes,
funny
man,
people.
Well,
people moan about the loading times, but you've got it all over again now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I remember having to put going around with my friends and putting in Treasure Island Dizzy on a cassette tape. It'd take about 20 minutes to load, and we'd be sitting there going, "Oh, come on, hurry up!"
But it got so bad that it got to the end of the tape, and then if you went downstairs and you come back upstairs again, it's like, "Oh bollocks! I've got to change the tape over now. I've got to wait another 20 minutes for the next tape." And then there was, I mean, the big issue as well was back then was the piracy. And I mean, on the Spectrum, I mean, everyone was able to pirate the Spectrum stuff because they used normal audio.
Yeah, tape to tape.
Yeah, but the Commodore, they changed it. They changed the security on it slightly, so it's a little bit harder to do. But I used one of these special things, which what you used to do is plug it in the back of the Commodore. You put one special Commodore 64 tape deck on one side and another one on the other side. So what I used to have to do is go around to my friend Ruin's house, borrow his tape deck because he had an official one because that's all you could use. And he used to hate me because he never used to play any of his stuff because I always used to have his tape deck.
Yeah.
And then
you weren't poshed in and had one of these massive ghetto blasters with a double cassette.
No,
that's what my mate had.
No, I didn't have that. But then I noticed that they did try to change things because Jet Set Willie, they even put a little
color code.
The color code. So when they brought that out, I copied the game and then realised I couldn't play it. So I went down to Curry's and nicked the cover code from Curry's.
Well, they started doing that, but every kid got round it. Do you remember Elite had that kind of plastic thing with like a piece of blurred glass in it? But then when you put it on the screen, you could actually see what the code was.
Yeah.
But without it, you couldn't get into the game. But kids got round it, you know. I'm looking here now. I've got a stack of 150 specky games, and they're all the games that I brought with my pocket money back in the day. I'll never get rid of them because obviously it means so much to me. And there's probably a third of that's all pirated. It's all copied.
I mean, back in the day, I remember my dad buying me games for my Atari for like £1. They must have been pirated.
Yeah. And then do you remember Soft Aid? Do you remember Band Aid?
Yeah.
They brought out a cassette with games on, didn't they?
Nice.
With the money. Yeah. Oh, fond memories, guys.
But the back in the day, though, you could be. I mean, the one thing I would say about that era, though, is it was thriving because you used to be able to buy computer games everywhere. I mean, you even used to buy them in Boots. Now, for you, Colin, you much probably don't know what Boots is. Boots is a pharmaceutical.
Yeah, I know.
And they used to go in there. Yeah, it's a pharmaceutical.
Mine's still got Boot stickers on them.
Yeah, and you go there to go and get your Anadin, and you go and buy, I don't know,
game.
Yeah, Rambo, something like that. But it was, there was little corner shops that used to open up.
I remember buying games in WH Smith's and Woolworths.
Yeah.
So did you have a Spectrum then, Webby? Did you?
No, the first computer I remember having was an Atari ST.
Right, so you're a little bit younger than me, are you? I'm 45.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit younger. Yeah, so Atari ST, and then I had a Master System, a Mega Drive. I was more of a Sega kid, but I did get a Super Nintendo, kind of towards the end of the SNES generation. To be fair, never been a massive Nintendo guy because I was all about Sonic. It was always the arguments on the playground. My Mega Drive's much better than your SNES, and now, obviously, because I got into RPGs during the PS1 era, and I kind of always regret not getting into RPGs during the SNES era, because those were kind of where all the best RPGs were.
It was, but all the best shooters were on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, so...
Because the Mega Drive had a faster chip, but the SNES had a better sound chip. So the sound is a lot better on the Super Nintendo, but the games run faster on the Mega Drive. That's why a lot of games for the Super Nintendo, the shoot 'em ups like R-Type 3 and what's the other one? Sonic Wings. They get a little bit of slowdown when too much comes on the screen. Just can't handle it, the processor. But the Mega Drive, you don't get that. But you sacrifice that for sound. It's a little bit tinny, isn't it, on the Mega Drive?
That's not ideal.
See, I never. No. It's funny, really, because I've got. Everyone knows how many SNESes I've got now, but I never had a SNES back in the day. I used to go around my friend's house. I had a Mega Drive, and after I had the Commodore for quite a long time, actually. To be honest, I think I had it till about 91, 92, and you think it was still going then, really. The Commodore 64 lasted for a long, long time, and then I had an Acorn Electron, I had one of them which I tried to program on and stuff like that, and then, as I say, got the Mega Drive. But I used to go around my friend's house, and we used to go around there and smoke dope and play Mario Kart.
Yeah. And you played that game until you finished it, didn't you? The Rainbow Road. You go back and play the Rainbow Road now. That is rock hard.
Yeah. So I was remembering in N64 there was that cheat on the Rainbow Road where if you got it right, you could jump from one end of the track to the other.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Fun
Memories,
days, man.
Good times.
But I think you know, you only had a couple of carts at the time. They were so expensive. I mean, I was a young
Yeah.
man working, 20, 21, when I had the Snoop Nintendo, and I absolutely loved it. But I only remember having 4 games max at any given one time.
Yeah,
You know,
that's the difference with now. I think gaming now has become more disposable.
it
So
is, yeah.
so for me, I'm exactly the same when I had my old systems, especially with the cartridges, but back in the PS1 days as well, until I chipped my PS1. Um, you only had like say 2, 3, 4, 5 games on the go or whatever maximum, and that's probably what you would buy for the whole year, if
Yeah,
that. And now,
yeah,
like, there's so many games, especially if you have Steam, you can pick up a game for like 5,
yeah.
10 quid. You could end up playing like 20 odd games a year.
Yeah, and I don't think we played. You know, people say you played more back then. I don't. I believe that. I mean, kids played games, but you know, kids were out on their bikes. You know, kids were out doing their things. You know, when you got home, you played games, but you know, we play it a lot more now. I think.
Yeah.
You know, I really do. And we got so much now with all the retro and all the modern. It's never been a better time to be a gamer. Really.
It's funny what you just said then about the PlayStation, you know, that you bought that and you had it chipped. Do you know what? They actually did say that the actual PlayStation did succeed because it came in, it was a new, you know, console that stepped onto the market. It succeeded more because it was easy, it was chipped, because a lot of people bought them and then they realised they could actually chip them and then play the games for free, because you couldn't do it. You know, back then you had the N64, didn't you? No one could do anything with that. So, and that did help. That did help Sony on there. I know they didn't want it, but it did help.
So what else helped Sony is the way they market it in the UK.
Oh, big time!
They put it in the Ministry of Sound.
Yeah.
Right, and people went nuts for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. And I know the guy. Actually, I could get him on this podcast if you want. I know the Sony PlayStation marketing director, right? Because he used to go with my ex-wife. He would love to come on this show and talk about Sony PlayStation. He was there at the fourth. He was there at the forefront. He was the guy who was responsible for putting in the PS1 in the Ministry of Sound.
Well, they were everywhere, weren't they? They were all
they were everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they did.
I didn't get the N64. I thought it was absolute shit. The N64. I couldn't stand the controller. I didn't like the games. Yeah. But the PS1 was just, when I saw Tomb Raider. And you could look around the corner when you come out in the corridor, and you could actually look around either side. I was blown away. I thought, yeah, this is it. This is next gen.
And it was also the fact being the music as well. I mean, you had Ridge Racer, you had Wipeout. Wipeout was brilliant, because what did you get with Wipeout, right? You're 17, 18 years old, which I think I was about that at that time. You put Wipeout on. You got all your mates around, and what does it play? It plays the Chemical Brothers. It plays all rave tunes or dance tunes. Yeah. And I tell you what, it felt like it was an adult console, even though it wasn't. But it felt like that. It was for that certain era of certain age, of kids that were going to become adults.
Oh yeah.
It was, and then it also played CDs as well, which was great, because back then CDs were quite a new thing on the market.
Yeah.
So, all right, they had to play through your telly. But I don't know about you, but I used to, with my PS1, I used to put the CD in that used to be Future Sound London, and then you put it onto the special screen, and you used to see on the screen, you used to see all the colours flashing about, and then it'd be like you have all your mates around, you could just have it in the background. You'd be like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, man, look at all those lights. It's like I'm at a rave, but it's in your living room.
It was, yeah.
Well, it was.
Yeah, I know, because I used to do the same thing. That's why I'm laughing. So,
there were so many things it did right, where Nintendo at that stage and Sega they didn't move on. And
no, they didn't. Well, they had the opportunity to do a deal with Sony, didn't they? But they didn't. They could have had a CD based console, but they went back to cartridge, which was a massive.
And now look what Nintendo are doing
really.
Again with the Switch cartridges.
Yeah, but today's market's completely different.
Yeah, I know.
It's completely different. Someone brought up something funny the other day. I was listening to, and I've forgotten all about it. Did you ever LAN parties for the Xbox One? Do you remember the first Xbox?
Yes. Yeah. With playing Halo.
I forgot all about that. I remember getting my mate to bring his TV round, And my other mate,
Yep.
we had like 3 TVs on the kitchen table, linked up playing Halo. It was like,
Yep.
that
What a
was
console.
awesome.
I never did that.
I'll tell you what, a good
Dude, that's the
console
best.
for retro games. I always found the Xbox 360. With Xbox Live Arcade, I had loads of old retro arcade games on my
Yeah,
Xbox
but
360.
that was an Australian company. It closed down eventually, didn't it?
I'm not sure. I can't remember what it was called,
Yeah.
but I'd like Time Pilot and Scramble
Robotron, yeah.
and all those sorts of games. They were really fun to play on the Xbox 360 because you could play them online and with your mates as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You can just see it. You get home, right? You come in the living room, just sit down after a hard day's work. You go in the living room. Where's the telly gone again?
Yeah.
Is my son taking the telly round to his mate's house again?
Yeah. I kind of miss that in a way. You know, it's changed so
Taking
much.
the telly with you?
Just having your mates round at gathering, you know, around the telly. Now it's all done online, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, I mean, many times I used to. I mean, this is PS1, PS2 era. I mean, I used to go down the pub. We used to get really pissed, come back, and it was like we used to get your dirty curry chips on the way home.
Yeah.
And then we used to try and put Gran Turismo on and try and do, Pistons of Fart, trying to do the licenses.
yeah.
Or we used to put Tony Hawk on and just see who can get the biggest airs and all the tricks. They were good times.
I remember doing that on the original Xbox on Project Gotham with my mates, man, trying to get get the best times just to unlock the best cars and stuff. That was awesome.
Did any of you play Jurassic Park on the Xbox? Remember that? It was like a sim game where you had to build your own park. So it was a bit like Theme Park, but Jurassic Park, and you could put dinosaurs in it. I remember getting that, and me and my mate were up till 3 a.m. finishing that game. It was unbelievable. And you could, if you managed to get a dinosaur egg, you could actually hatch it, grow it up, and then just stick it in where all the people were coming in through the front gate, and just watch it go on a rampage. It was awesome.
Right, so I just want to kind of finish up for this moment on the show because Switch has just joined us, and he's in Germany at the moment.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, Switch. He's been sitting there patiently, nice and quiet. He's at the Final Fantasy 14 Fan Fest at the moment in Germany.
Full report.
I didn't want to butt in while you was having that interesting conversation, so I was just sitting here listening.
I'm sure we'll be talking more retro stuff shortly, but I didn't want to keep you waiting in case you're using your phone data or anything. So.
No, I'm hooked to the Wi-Fi at the hotel, so I do apologise if the quality's a bit shit.
No, you sound fine, man.
I'm fine.
That's cool.
So how is the Fan Fest?
Mad. Just fantastic 2 days. I've just literally come back about half hour ago. The final part was like a big concert they put on for the Primals, which is like Soken's band. Is obviously, as most people know, Final Fantasy is so big that it's got its own sort of concert in Distant World. As you know, Webby, we've been to them a few times.
Yeah.
But obviously, in Final Fantasy 14, there's like a shed load of music. In fact, one of the things they did today was they were presented with 3 Guinness World Records.
Oh wow!
OMG.
One of which was the longest ending credits in a video game ever.
Oh God!
1.5 hours long.
What?
Jesus.
That's crazy.
The second one was for most songs in a video game, like individual compositions, which I think was something like 347 at the moment.
Wow.
Something crazy like that. And the last one they were awarded with was the most titles in a franchise, which was obviously, I think it's about 87 they're at now for Final Fantasy.
Fucking
different
hell.
individual
That's crazy.
Wow.
games.
Milking that cow.
All the handheld ones and the mobile ones and stuff on top of it. But yeah, this concert is literally just for the primal music that you fight during the primal boss fights.
Mm-hmm.
So like at most of these events, like Soken has his own band, which he calls the Primals, and they come on and perform all these different tracks. You'd have actually quite liked this one, Webby. They actually performed 2 of the tracks from Alexander.
Ah, yes.
Sort of a thing. And Koji Fox, who's like the English translator for obviously the dev team and does a lot of the in-game sort of like translations of flavor text and stuff. He actually does all the vocals for a lot of the tracks, so he was on stage rocking out and singing along to them as well. And they actually, for the first time ever, got Susan Calloway, who's like the voice of the game, to perform the Shiva music song.
Oh, cool.
Sort of thing, much to the enjoyment of the crowd, as it were, sort of a thing.
So what else have you been up to? Tell us about your antics, what you've seen. Has it been worth the money?
Beer out of a boot yet?
No, I haven't. I've drunken plenty of beer, though, I must admit. The main problem I have with, like, I suppose, all of these social events when you go to these big halls and things like that is they don't allow you to take your own drinks in. They always confiscate all your drinks and food at the door, similar to how like it is if you go to a concert or whatever. So you're always left having to buy the stuff there. The prices were actually pretty. Yeah, the prices weren't too shabby, actually, to be honest, for like pizza and Coke and things like that. But the problem is they never give you anything in a bottle. So you're always walking around with it in a cup, which is open, so you can't just like stash it away in your bag or whatever. So you either constantly walking around with a cup, or you end up getting thirsty every hour or so and having to go and buy another drink.
I got you there, mate.
Yeah.
World problems.
Yeah, plenty of sort of obviously new information and stuff on the game that they sort of unveiled. They unveiled a brand new extended trailer, which threw everyone for a loop because we all knew that we were going to Alamigo for obviously the next expansion, Stormblood, which is what this fan festival was sort of promoting and sort of like giving us information for in the first place. But the extended part of the trailer actually showed us we're also going to a brand new continent, which is like where Doma is. So we'll be liberating 2 sort of city-states in one expansion.
Can I ask a noob question? WoW has Horde and Alliance. Are there 2 opposing factions in Final Fantasy XIV?
Not so much, no. It's mainly a lot of like interweaving storylines. I mean, there's quite a lot to go on. You've got sort of like these deities from like a different plane called the Asians that are going around trying to sort of either fix or destroy the planet we're inhabiting as a player.
But you're not automatically enemies with half the players in the world when you
No. There's none of that in there, no. Which is a bonus, which is one of the reasons why I sort of started playing this one anyway, because it's not forced on PvP or anything like that. It's just, it's the most single player centric, I suppose, MMO there is. But obviously, when you're doing dungeons and trials and raids and stuff, you obviously join other players to complete all of those. But it means they can sort of push the story aspect a bit more than they would in, say, other MMOs, which is one of the things that the game's been praised for from sort of like day one of A Realm Reborn, anyway, at least. I know, obviously, the failed launch of the original 1.0 didn't really please people that much. But yeah, I've had a great couple of days, pretty drunk most of the days. The location of the venue is awesome. Like, Germany's actually awesome. I was a bit dodgy about it at first coming here, but the people are like really friendly and it's easy to get around and whatnot. I mean, my hotel was literally sort of like just up the road from where the venue was in the first place.
Is the venue itself being hosted in German? Or is it hosted in English?
No, this was the weird thing. Obviously, although it's in Frankfurt, the whole thing was presented and spoken in English the whole time.
Weird.
Yeah, which that seemed a bit strange to me because part of me was expecting to sort of obviously be sitting there and listening to it in German mostly, with obviously
it'd be just like when you play Japanese games, right? You don't understand what the hell's going on.
Well, yeah, I'll pick up words and phrases here and there, stuff, and depending on how visual the game is, you can pretty much pick up what's going on most things anyway.
Yeah. Did you reserve your seat by putting the Union Jack towel on it?
No. No, people were doing that with bags, actually, I must admit, during a lot of the sessions.
Fucking Germans always there at 6 in the morning, aren't they, the bastards?
But yeah, this was, I think, one of the first fan fests, or the 14 fan fests anyway, that Nobuo Uematsu's been at as well. He was obviously showcasing a little bit of his new song that they're going to be using for the expansion and whatnot. And they played a bit of it there, which was pretty cool. And then they had like a talk session between him and Soken, his junior. And they started going into some of their drunken antics at like different bars and stuff and going proper off topic and that. It was like really interesting to see. But yeah, I've had a good old time, really.
Nice.
Any excuse to leave the country's a bonus sort of a thing. So
Cool.
When are you home?
I'll come home tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
It's a pity the venue or the event, wasn't over sort of like say a Wednesday to a Thursday or something like that, because it's a hell of a lot cheaper to travel.
See, I'm surprised you've got good Wi-Fi in your hotel. Have you had to pay for that?
No, it came all bundled in actually. I will say, like, I think I only paid about 170 quid for this hotel for the 3 nights.
Yeah.
And considering those 3 nights are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which are usually the most expensive times to stay somewhere, that's quite a bonus. I mean, I always leave things pretty much till last minute. I didn't book my hotel and flights until literally about 4 days before I was coming. But yeah, cool. The place is like swanky and everything. There's a nice bar downstairs. Like go down sort of like whenever and get some new top ups for my beer and whatnot.
Cool. And they announced at the FanFest another character class as well. So we already knew about the Red Mage. They introduced a samurai. Yeah,
that's correct. I mean, at one of the previous events, he usually comes out like the producer Yoshida in like weird cryptic t-shirts. That sort of like he came out one year with like a Batman t-shirt, sort of like hinting at the Dark Knight class and things like that. And he threw most people for a loop because he came out in a Spider-Man t-shirt at the last festival in Tokyo. And then people were sort of saying like, well, Sam Raimi was a director of the original trilogy and like samurai sort of a thing. And he actually said on stage that was exactly what he was going for. And he was surprised how quickly people picked up on it. The real weird thing, obviously, that a lot of people have taken out of this new class reveal is the fact that it's also a DPS, the same as Red Mage. Whereas in Final Fantasy XI, Samurai was actually a tank class. So we're only getting two classes this expansion because they said with the last one they took on quite a lot, sort of like bringing sort of 3 in, and they wanted to sort of keep it balanced and keep the same amount of healers and tanks. But there's a few people now are slightly bit worried that because they're adding in 2 new DPSs, it's going to mean the queues for dungeons and things are going to take longer, because less people are going to be using tanks and healers. Because Samurai does look pretty badass, and Red Mage is also a highly sort of like sought after class by a lot of the fan base.
Fun times. Are they going to start at level 50 or level 0?
Both Samurai and Red Mage will start at level 50, and they'll be available as soon as you complete the 2.0 storyline. You don't have to do any of the expansion patches or anything like that to actually access them.
Oh, wow.
There's a problem that people had before with, like, obviously Astrologian, Machinist and Dark Knight before. You had to have completed all of 2.0 plus every expansion to actually access those characters, but they will now start in the, I believe, early city zones that are obviously accessible in the original game.
Cool. Fun times. Well, I'm glad you've had a good time, mate.
Definitely.
So, all good. Did you cosplay?
No.
Why not?
I did see. I've seen some fantastic cosplays though. The one that pretty much stole everyone's heart. I saw them when I was queuing up to obviously go into the venue on the first day, but someone was cosplaying as a fat chocobo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the outfit was absolutely fantastic. It was just spot on, like the waddle, and it was proper to scale as well. And they had the mouth actually moved, and there was someone walking along next to it with the cabbage on the stick as well.
When it's done well, it's done really well. When you see the Japanese cosplay, it looks so cool. But then you go to Manchester Replay and you get the chavs with their bellies hanging out the sides. It's like, no, it's not happening. Put it away.
Yeah, all of the cosplay at this one I've seen has been like pretty top tier. To be honest, it's a shame when so obviously they have to pick winners of certain ones, because there was like a fantastic Shiva cosplay as well, which unfortunately missed out on any of the accolades and stuff. And the work some of the people put into some of these costumes for like the professional cosplayers and stuff, you're talking like almost a year, sort of like months to a year or whatever for some of them to actually come to fruition.
Yeah.
Cool. Fun times, mate. Fun times.
Definitely.
Anyway, Alex, did you have anything else to add before we move on from retro stuff?
No, not really. I guess if any guys want to follow up on the Skyskipper project, then you just go to the website. You'll see all the details there and the whole story, which is a lot longer than what I've just been talking about here. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Nintendo Arcade, and you can see the videos I've put up there showing it in a lot more detail. You can actually see the game running. So go and check that out, guys.
I'm watching you play Giddy Up on the Jurassic Park thing at the moment.
So, yeah.
Is that a shooter, is it? Because I saw that. I went to an arcade this afternoon and they had Jurassic Park, but huge Jurassic Park. It wasn't like that one. It was all built over the top of the cab, and it had proper guns, but they looked like the things from Ghostbusters that they held in their hands. And I said to my daughter, I said, "Oh, come on, let's play this together." She goes, "No, I don't want to shoot dinosaurs."
Well, every year we go to EAG, which is basically a trade fair in London Olympia. Where it's been going for the last 40 years. So basically all the big Namco, Bandai, even Nintendo there displaying all their latest arcade machines for operators to buy. So I got to have a go on the new Nintendo. Well, it's not really Nintendo. It's licensed by Nintendo, but I don't think they actually made the game. It's Cruising Blast. So do you remember Cruising USA?
Yeah.
So this is the new arcade machine. The cabinet looks absolutely stunning. And it's a fantastic game. It really is. I played Luigi's Mansion, which is another Namco game, which was a little bit lackluster. The cabinet looks amazing. And you get hold of an actual vacuum. You're holding an actual end of a vacuum cleaner. But the game was a little bit slow. I couldn't get into it. I was really excited to play that because I'd seen it come out in Japan a couple of years ago. I thought, when's it going to come over here? Finally, I got to play it, and I just thought, nah, it's not happening. Really wasn't happening, but that was where I met the cast from Only Fools and Horses. They were promoting a penny pusher. Do you remember the penny pushers? You put the penny at the top, and they come down on shelves.
Oh, they're in all the seaside towns.
Yeah, so if you go to my EAG video, you'll see a picture there I've put up. I actually got to get my picture taken with them. They were there promoting an Only Fools and Horses penny pusher. Can you believe it? So Cassandra was there, Raquel was there, Del Boy's wife, and Denzel. And I looked up and I thought, I know you. And I thought, shit, you're from Only Fools and Horses. Like, do you mind if I have my picture taken? He's like, yeah, if you don't mind putting a bit of money in the charity shops. I said, yeah, no problem. And I just started chatting to him. All my mates, there's like 8 of us. All there, and they're just staring. I can't just stare at you, I've got to chat. And I was chatting to Raquel for quite a while, and I was saying, when you're coming back? She said, our writer died, John Sullivan died. I said, yeah, that's a real shame. She said, without him, it's just not going to happen. And of course, David Jason's getting quite old now. And I said, yeah. She said you can go back and watch all the old videos, all there. I said, yeah. But yeah, they're really nice people. And it was just odd to see him at an event like that with all these arcade machines and pinball machines and stuff. It was weird. But that's a really cool event, guys. That's free to get in as well. And all the machines are on free play, which is amazing when you think about it. Yeah. But not a lot of people know about it because it's a trade fair.
So can you not... Can the general public get in then or not?
Well, not a lot of people. What you have to do is you go on the website and you just type in company name or whatever. You make it up because I put in my name, Alex Crowley, company name Nintendo Arcade. Right. And they just give you a ticket and then you go there and you go in. Oh, okay. But this is an event that's been going 40, 50 years. So if you rewind the time 40 years ago, you would have seen all the classics at this event. And now it's up to date. You're seeing there was a game there which was really weird. So it's a kiddie's game, really, but the way they'd done it was amazing. So you actually had a gun that squirted water, real water, and you had a massive LED screen with graphics. I can't remember what the game. I think it was fish you had to shoot, and the water shoots at the actual screen, the TV. And when it hits the TV, you shoot, you actually kill stuff. So it's a gun game with actual water, and it was amazing how they done it. Obviously, just a plastic screen in front of it, but how they got it to act with the TV was really clever. But yeah, I'll let you know next time. It's a pretty cool event. EAG in London. I've done a video on it.
Cool.
Colin, so what have you been playing, dude?
I'm not going to be very interesting, I'm afraid. I am playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm. It is still kind of what my current obsession. I am caught in the loop of just constantly trying to play the ranks ladder and try and level up my, increase my rank. I just love the challenge. I love the team aspect. I love the complexity of the game. I think it's awesome. It's very intense. Get on Heroes of the Storm, you slags. I paid $15 for a Kerrigan skin.
Oh,
is this a mobile game?
Huh?
Is this a mobile game, Colin?
No, it's a PC game, mouse and keyboard. It's a MOBA.
Those games that the 16-year-old kids play.
Kind of like Dota or League of Legends.
I've seen it running. So is it kind of like a Diablo type game, like isometric?
It's Diablo combined with StarCraft. Is how I would characterize it. So you're a hero that levels up and can choose talents at different levels.
It's basically League of Legends.
And then but there's also minions and bases and stuff, and you can kind of pick where to be and how to shape the battlefield, and you do hero fights, 5v5 fights, or try to gank other heroes.
So you control a consortium of characters, do you? Or you just control one character? Just one, okay. And
then AI controls, the minion waves and the different bosses and mercenary camps around the map. Have a look at it on YouTube, man.
I've seen it running. It's really big and popular because they had a big thing at Replay last year.
Yeah, has just concluded. It's free to play, and it's not pay to win. There are no items like League of Legends or Dota. You level up as a team and you gain special abilities as a team, and it's all done by team sharing experience. So I like the way they balanced it. It's a classic Blizzard product. If you like any other Blizzard games, chances are you might like this one.
I was going to say the main characters in it anyway from all their other franchises, aren't they? So you've got like characters from Diablo and StarCraft, Warcraft, and Overwatch now as well.
Stitches. Uther Lightbringer from WoW, Kerrigan from obviously StarCraft, and Raynor from StarCraft. Tracer and Zarya and Lucio now. Lucio's the newest character from Overwatch in the game. So every 3 weeks they come out with a new hero. They come out with new maps a couple times a year. I'm happy with the way they're supporting the game. So
cool.
Give it a go. I played a little bit of Overwatch with Nathan Toad yesterday. Cheers for the games. Overwatch is it's on the back burner for me now because I'm back into Heroes of the Storm, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for me, I can't. Overwatch is being neglected, I guess is my point. And I played a little bit of Battlefield 1 with Webby this morning and got completely destroyed. I don't like wooden guns and bolt action. Right?
I'll tell you what, as I had put Battlefield 1 on the back burner for quite a long time, and I was kind of forgotten about, and then I put it back on today, and I must have played for about 4 hours today. But
you couldn't sleep, you said.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh man, I forgot. Like as soon as I turned it on, I was like, I forgot how good looking the game is, and then I ended up doing a map on Conquest mode that I'd never done before because I normally do the other mode, the Operations mode. So I thought I want to do Conquest because that's like old school Battlefield, and I hadn't actually really played that on Battlefield 1.
I like Conquest.
And I was just really like, oh man, this is classic Battlefield, and this is what I love about the game, and I couldn't stop playing it, man. And that's all I could think about today, so I played it again this afternoon with you. It's still a great game, and it's been neglected a little bit with our community, I think.
If you're going to get in an airplane with Webby, be warned.
Be warned,
He
you
tells
might
you to
die.
bail out 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah, but I do think, I do think it's a good Battlefield, but I do think it's one of the least popular ones that's come out in recent years. I mean, I know Battlefield Hardline is the least popular Battlefield that's come out in recent years, but I still think, because I remember the good times we had on Battlefield 4, like we'd get all of us on and we'd have epic sessions. We've not had that on this one.
Modern Warfare 2 is still the highlight of shooters for the community for me, but Battlefield 4 is number 2.
Bad Company 2 for me was the highlight.
I think it's popular enough. It's just obviously within our community, we've all gotten older, and there's a lot more games that
a lot of people have gone their separate ways
playing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the servers are always rammed, and then you're in a game straight away. I know obviously the load times are a bit rubbish, but
there's so many games though now, isn't there? Multiplayer now. If you think about it, those style games from Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Titanfall, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and the list goes on and on and on. So it just diverts, and everyone's just split here and there. I mean, they've just. The news, they've just said that Call of Duty is going to go. It's possible to go back to its roots. Is that World War II? Is it their root? Because that's really their roots, isn't it?
I thought Modern Warfare's kind of like the most popular thing, but I know that they've actually laid off a load of people from one of the Call of Duty teams.
Well, there's 3 teams, isn't there? There's Triarch, there's Sledgehammer,
Infinity Ward, and
Infinity Ward.
I can't remember which team it is, but I heard it on Giant Bomb this week that they've laid off a load of people because the last Call of Duty didn't sell as well as they wanted it to.
But it was still like the biggest selling game of last year, which always makes me laugh. Like, how is that company just like really greedy or something? I don't get it. Like,
there's a lot of things going on with Activision, though, at the moment, isn't there? I mean, the other news as well is that Skylanders is on a break, so there's not a new Skylanders this year, so my daughter's devastated about that, even though
what's the Switch one then? That's a new one, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's a rehash from the PS4.
Not that I give
Xbox.
a shit, but...
No, they're good games. Your daughter will love it, actually. I mean, my daughter's played all the Skylanders since they first started. And they're good, easy games, but... Activision at the moment, the Skylanders has gone on a hiatus at the moment. Guitar Hero hasn't worked. The only thing they've got that's worked is Destiny, and there's a new one of them coming out this year for definite. Destiny 2's coming out this year, and Overwatch, is that on Activision?
Well, it's Activision Blizzard, isn't it?
So it's part of them. So they're the only 2 franchises that are doing something really at the moment.
Yeah, but just think how much money they make from WoW every month with the subscriptions anyway. They could just live off that still, to be fair.
Yeah, but that's not... Is that Activision that?
It's Activision Blizzard. They merged. Okay. So, same company,
Oh, okay. Right. But who knows? And also, as I said, the Call of Duty, I don't know where they go, but I'm not sure World War II's where I want to go, really, for Call of Duty. But then, I mean, they've pick up and play for me these days. I must admit, I don't really get into the multiplayer anymore.
It's too toxic.
Put me on the hills of Afghanistan, sniping down into villages.
Oh, dear.
Well, that's why I used to like the Medal of Honor ones, because they were like, Afghanistan. They were
based
great.
On true missions and stuff.
Yeah.
Spend about 10 minutes breaching a door. Woo-hoo!
Well, yeah, all right. Yeah, you did breach a lot of doors in Medal of Honor, but I thought that was a brilliant game. I mean, that's one of my favourite. The 2 Medal of Honors we had, I thought they were miles better than the Call of Duties we've had for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway,
last game, Dishonored Definitive Edition.
Ooh.
The original. Progress on that. Yeah, because I got Dishonored 2 for Christmas. It came with the Definitive Edition, so I was like, okay, I'll brush up on the Definitive Edition before I get into the story for Dishonored 2, but it's taken me 2 months to even play through the first 3 missions because all I do is play HOTS. So, yeah, that's my single player on at the moment is Dishonored Definitive. The graphics are fine. I'm enjoying it. I can't be bothered.
How do you find because I know you're probably pretty similar to me when it comes to things like Dishonored, where it's like, right, I must do this completely stealthy. I must hide every body.
Yeah.
Not be seen.
So the way I'm playing it different is the first time I really tried not to kill anyone. This time I'm killing people, but I still want to do stealth. I don't like I don't like getting found or triggering alarms. And so if I get found or trigger an alarm, I'll reload, but I'll actually use my sword and the actual lethal crossbow bolts this time rather than just the sleep darts. So that's how I'm playing it a little bit differently. But yes, I'm still obsessive compulsive around playing it stealth and not triggering anything. So I'm at the point where I'm going to take an infected rat carcass to a whiskey distillery and drop it off and infect or poison the whiskey distillery with the plague or something like that.
Man, it's been so long since I played Dishonored. I played it on the 360. I do have the remaster on the One, but I've not got around to it yet. And I think I might do that soon. Actually,
all the DLC with it as well, being the definitive edition.
Nice. That's a great game.
That's me done.
Stunty.
Not much for me. I actually did finish the bunker last weekend. What a crock of shit!
We had a good chat about that, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I went around to Webby's this week. The student man that lives in his house with all his plates that haven't been washed up.
Yep.
So, and we had a little chat about the bunker, and it was like, I mean, I'll be honest, you could easily get a platinum on this game on the trophies if you wanted to, but I don't know. I couldn't play this again twice. I played it through once, and that was bad enough. Playing it through once, it's just it doesn't do enough. There's two endings. I did both endings. Fuck me, that was a nightmare just doing the other ending. It's just so boring waiting to go through the whole section again, and that ending was as bad as the other ending. So it just reminds me of the 90s, the Mega Drive, video sort of style games of them, like Night Trap and stuff like that. Actually saying, I think Night Trap was better than this, actually.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, that's the bunker finish, which is off my year of living gamelessly. Other than that, I haven't really got into much at the moment because, to be honest, I'm waiting for Zelda because it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks.
Good. It does look good.
Yeah, and I've been watching quite a few videos on it.
Don't ruin the surprise.
No, well, no.
You see that bloke who got a hold of a Switch, put a video up.
Yeah, well,
apparently it was stolen. I saw the news today.
Yeah, they got it back, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which was this? Because I saw someone post a picture on Twitter a couple of days ago that where he got an early Switch, like a couple of weeks early.
So he bought it off someone who had stolen it from like a warehouse, and then the dude who stole it's now been sacked. That's what I read anyway. Sounds interesting.
They've actually now, there's a couple more information. I'll be honest, Nintendo is still very slack on the information coming out of the Switch. Considering it's 2 weeks away, I mean, I've been reading a few articles and they're saying they're not looking good at the moment. They're going down the same route as the Wii U, which is worrying as well. But they have come out.
In what terms? In what way do you mean?
Well, there's just not enough information of what the console can
Marketing.
do. They've not told anything about the virtual console, what's going on with that. We don't know what's the online aspect of it still. I mean, we did find out one bit of information this week, which was like the holy grail of information. Anything you buy on the Switch, on the virtual store, is tied to an account, not to a console. Hooray! Finally! They've
now, is that...
Yeah,
is that the same Nintendo ID you've been using on your 3DS and Wii U, or will you have to create a new one?
They haven't told us.
Yeah, that's what we need to know.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I don't want to rebuy all those games I've got on the Wii U again and on the DS.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do need to sort it out. I agree. They do.
But there we go. But as I say, it's 2 weeks away, and it's I don't know. It's let's hope it works when it comes out. So but there we go.
I can see it being a massive success on release, and regardless, it's just you're looking like 3-4 months down the line when there's like a sparseness of titles for.
Well, there's going to be a sparseness of consoles for a while, because you know what Nintendo are like when they bring out a new system. They just make sure it's sold out all the bloody time.
Well, it's like the Amiibos when they first come out. But so I haven't really got into much. All I can say, I've been playing a little bit of The Witcher, the DLC, which is Blood and Wine.
Nice.
Still playing that.
That's brilliant.
Took me a little while to get back into it because I haven't played it for a little while. So trying to work out. The only problem I am having with it though is I'm 2 levels below what the actual mission is. and I noticed on one of the missions I did it, but I really struggled to do the mission. So I've had to go and do some side missions to try and level myself up. Because how it works, it's all on missions you do. It's not on like it's not on damage or
I know what
destroy.
you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, I've gone off to do some side missions at the moment, which is not really what I wanted to do because it's part of my year living gamelessly. So I want to just get through the main story, but I can't. So there. Other than that, played Rezo Gun. I went back to that this week. I'll be honest, Alex. If you ever get a PS4, you've got to get a Rezo Gun.
I've played it. Yeah, it's like a 3D sort of defender, isn't it?
Yeah, with a bit. Reminds me of a bit like your R-Type as well, because you were playing that, on your video I was watching.
Yeah.
I was playing that. I forgot how good that game is. Other than that, the only game I did pick up that I bought for myself and my daughter is Poochie's Yoshi's Woolly World for the 3DS.
Say that again.
Poochie's Yoshi. Fucking bastard. Which is basically the port of the Wii U version that came out, which I didn't get into for some reason. There was something about it I didn't like. And I played the demo on the 3DS, which you can, if you've got a 3DS, download the demo. You get 30 goes of it, and it's better. I think it's more for the handheld than it is for the actual Wii U.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And I've been playing that this evening actually, and yeah, I'm loving it. Even got Poochie's amiibo as well.
So what do you do with Poochie then? Is he like the dragon Yoshi? You just jump on him, do you?
I haven't got him out of the box yet. He's still in the box. The daughter was like, "You're going to get him out of the box?" I like him in the box.
I can open it up, man.
So, well, you don't need to because
you can still play it then.
Yeah, they do two modes on this version, which is the difference between the Wii U version. You got a Poochie version mode, which is they call it the calm version. So it means you can't do something. All you do is push one of the buttons, and your Poochie will run off and tell you where to go. And
right.
So what Poochie will do is what are those things that come out the grounds and they bite you?
I can't remember.
Are they thumpers?
No, chompers, isn't it? The flowers.
Yeah, chompers, yeah, something like that. Well, what they do is Poochie will run along and he will put a load of yard of wall around them and it will stop them chomping you.
Yeah.
So, but it's all right. It's not bad.
I
enjoy it. To be honest, I was looking for something on the 3DS to play just before I go to bed, and it's perfect.
You got the new 3DS, Paul? Have you? Or
yeah, I got the new, I've got the two Zeldas. I've got the new Zelda 3DS, and then the other one I've got was the original. Yes, the old black one, the same as the one you broke.
Yeah, it's a big improvement, isn't it?
Yeah, the thumbstick's in the wrong place though.
Yeah, well, I think the cart's in the wrong place because the trouble is with what I do is
you
I would end up the game crashes all the time. I prefer the cartridge at the top.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've caught the cartridge a couple of times now, and I'm like, bollocks, I haven't saved.
Yeah. Why do they do it there? I don't know, but it looks better. The 3D is so much better. I mean, before you had to get it right in that you had to find the sweet spot, didn't you? Now you can move it about and not worry about it. You don't get that giddy effect. But yeah, I've got the Japanese Super Famicom version, but I can only play obviously Japanese games because it's regional locked. But yeah, I can see the difference. It's cool, very cool.
If you can find one though, because I was chatting to you the other day.
Yeah,
you can't find a new 3DS, brand new for love or life.
There must be some on eBay.
I don't know, but I just keep hearing stories. You just can't. I mean, I've even gone into like supermarkets and places like that, and just when I've gone in there, I normally go in there and have a look around. Anyway, I don't buy anything to be honest. Anyway, they've got all the PlayStations and the Xboxes. They've got the old 2DSs, but you never see the 3DSs.
No.
But
it's funny. I went into game today and had a go at them for not stocking enough Nintendo stuff.
Oh my goodness!
I said, "Where's all your Nintendo stuff?" I said, "Well, it's
just not as popular as it used to be, man."
No, he bullshitted. He said they don't bring out enough games. I said, "Well, I got over 150 games for the 3DS. Well, Where's Shantae and the Pirate's Curse? Oh, I don't think we knew about that one. I said, well, there's loads of games. Where are they? You should be stocking them. It's just all PS4 and Xbox. I said, sort it out, mate.
Sort it out, you
And
slag.
The one thing I notice in game, because I go to where I've moved to, they have a game there. I've noticed that the Xbox 360, you can tell the Xbox 360 sold a lot more than the PS3 last generation, because they have got absolutely millions of 360 games they're trying to sell off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 3 shelves. PS3's only got like 2.
And they're all those 3 shelves are probably FIFA 12 or something.
Well, they can't be getting much back, the punters, on those games, surely.
Nah.
If they can't get rid of them now, what's the return on that? You better off selling them at a car boot, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I bought I went into CEX this week, and I actually bought a PSP game for £1.
Well, I'll tell you what, the next thing you want to collect for is the Vita.
Oh, yeah, I've got a Vita, haven't I? I've got lots of games.
Have you?
I've got a Vita that never gets played.
Well, everyone keeps saying, I've seen a lot of videos, some fucking good games on that system.
The Vita's awesome, man.
It's my handheld system.
Look, I played Persona 4 Golden. I played Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Crown.
With the big, with the big city girl.
Dogma, yeah. It's not as good as the 3DS, obviously.
Dragon something.
It was Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown, yeah, which is quite similar to sort of Odin's Sphere, isn't it? And Demon Blade.
No,
it's
not.
Same company.
Well, it's same company, yeah.
It's an action game, though, isn't it? Dragon's Crown.
Yeah, they're all
it's
pretty much
side-scrolling. Well, it's sort of a role-playing, side-scrolling sort of hack and slash thing, isn't it? I played Demon Blade on the Wii, was awesome, which is kind of like the sequel to Odin's Sphere. Mm-hmm. That goes for about £50 now on the Wii. But yeah, that's an awesome series. But I've never played the one you're on about, Demon's Crown, is it?
Dragon's Crown.
Dragon's Crown, yeah, looks good, that. Can you play that on the PS4 as well, on the big screen?
Yes, they did bring Dragon's Crown out for the PS4.
No, it was on the PS3 and the Vita.
Was it?
Was
it? I'm sure.
Yeah, it's Open Sphere.
Yeah, I've got it on the PS3. Yeah.
On PS4.
See, games like that are going to be really collectible. Really collectible. You want to hold on to them, guys.
Never get. I've still got all my old PS1 games of all my Final Fantasies. Never sell them.
In Japan, you still get Vita games released every week.
Is it regional lock, the Vita?
No, it's
like region free.
Just region free. Most of my games are Japanese.
But so because of it, I've not been playing that much because I'm waiting for Zelda really, and the cow jerking game. So
are you not going to get? So you're not going to get Ghost Recon or Mass Effect next month then, because all your money's going to be spent on your Switch.
Well, I'm not buying anything anyway because I'm doing this year of living games here. But I've got this whole thing that I've done. My deal is right. I've got £100 I could spend. I've blown that because I bought the Switch. so what I've said to myself, anything Nintendo doesn't go part of the list.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Mate.
Just say that it's that £100 is actually on game software and not consoles. So technically, you've only spent half of it because you've got Zelda.
No, Zelda was £90.
What?
Because it's a special edition one.
Oh my god! What's it got?
A
fucking amiibo or something?
No, it hasn't got a scarf. It's got a pair of boxer shorts, isn't it?
Scarf. That's what
it's the one that comes with all the amiibos, isn't it? I think.
No, that's not that one. That's
a T-shirt.
This is the statue, isn't it?
Is it? I thought that was only American only.
No, I've got the one with the statue. If you get the Switch version.
Yeah, I got that. Oh right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you not get the one with the statue then?
I've got both. I've got the Switch limited edition and the Wii U version.
Yeah, but no, they did. Yeah, the Switch version. What did you get with it?
I thought it was just a T-shirt.
Well, you've ordered the wrong one then, didn't you?
Have I?
So there's one with a big statue of can't remember what it is of now. I'll look on
Zelda of Link.
I think it's Link. Yeah.
Well, I'll have to have a look at what I've brought now. You've got me worried.
Do you think they're actually going to bring out enough Wii U versions of Zelda?
No, I think it's going to do like Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they bring out a revitalised version of Skyward Sword. I think that desperately needs an update because obviously the controls for that were a little bit awkward for the Wii. So it'd be nice if they could, and they could do that for the Switch. But other than that,
It'd
no,
be
I think
nice
they've
if
done
they
enough.
brought out be nice if they brought out a retooled version of the new Star Fox on the Switch that didn't have those awful controls from the Wii U.
I tell you what they do need with next year, especially with the new film coming out, is a Star Wars game. They do definitely need a Star Wars game, and what a better console to have something like that on.
Well, they'll just bring out another Battlefront, won't they?
Well, there is EA doing a Star Wars, aren't they?
I think EA have the license, don't they? So
the trouble is EA don't really get on with Nintendo, do they? Really, they never have done for years. I mean, they do little bits and bobs for Nintendo, but they've never been a big fan of them, have they?
Well, look what they do with the games. They just bring it out half developed. Sort it out. It's not, know.
The limited edition contains the game, the Breath of the Wild soundtrack, and the Master Sword Resurrection figurine.
See, I thought that was US only.
Oh, well, I got that version. What I've said to myself is I've got £100 that doesn't include Nintendo stuff, okay, for the year. So far, I haven't bought anything. I want Resident Evil 7, but I'm going to hold fire because I want to finish 4, which I haven't even started yet, and Evil Within. They're two games I do want to play. I'm not interested in Mass Effect because, to be honest with you, I'm going to wait for reviews, and also, I'm not a fan of the characters. I don't like the look of them, and I'm holding fire on that because I don't know. I'm a bit dubious about that game. From what I've seen of gameplay, I'm not. It looks too like they've gone down an action route and not the RPG style of the game. That's what worries me with Mass Effect.
That number 2 pretty much went down that route, and it's beloved as the best in the series by a lot of players.
I didn't think 2 was. I mean, I love 2. 2's brilliant. It's the best one of them all. I thought 2 did both fine. 3 went more action, didn't it? I thought 3 became more Gears of War style with Mass Effect 3 compared to 2. 2 was perfect. It had a bit of this. It had the dialogue. It was perfect the way it was done. But I don't know. I'm going to hold fire, see what the reviews are for Mass Effect, and I might jump in.
I think it looks really, really good. I do understand what you mean with the some of the characters. But you can make your own character, and I'm like watching a trailer at the moment, and they look normal. So I don't see the massive deal.
I don't know. I just don't like. I don't know. The characters just look a bit. I don't know. I want to punch them in the face. Sorry. I don't know. It's like the dudes from Gears of War. I mean, how boring were they? The new characters they used. So I love Gears of War, but I thought
the characters' designs were fine, I thought.
Oh, I didn't like them. So, but there we go. And Ghost Recon.
Did not slag off Ghost Recon?
I haven't. No, it looks all right, but it's an online game, as in you've got to play it with your friends. And at the moment, I don't seem to be playing with anyone at the moment.
I have no friends.
No, not like that. It's just I don't have the time to play with you guys at the moment, so it's not happening. So I don't want to just buy.
The open beta's out soon, so you can give it a go anyway. So then you can make your own mind up.
Yeah, will do. So yeah, I'm not. I want to clear my other bits and bobs down. That's my reason. So that's it. That's me done.
Cool. All right. I've played a few games this week. I'm going to quickly rail through them. I've been playing quite a lot of Forza Horizon 3 this past week. I've been getting back into that. I've been playing the new Blizzard Mountain DLC. A single player only, so I've been trying to just kind of blast through it, and I've kind of fallen back in love with the Forza Horizon game again. It's just so much fun to play, and I know we haven't had the multiplayer fun like we had in the old games online, but as a single player experience for me recently, it's just been a lot of fun, so I've been really enjoying that. Resident Evil 7. I have not finished Resident Evil 7 yet because even though I'm playing it on easy, I keep fucking dying on the boss battles and they're pissing me off. So
they're actually just a set amount of things you've got to do in a certain order, mate. To be honest, they're more like set pieces than boss battles. I'm
on the infamous greenhouse boss battle, which everyone I've spoken to has had issues with this boss battle, and I can't do it. It's doing my head in, so I've not played it for a few days. But apart from that, it has the atmosphere, it has the gameplay. It's awesome. It's freaky as fuck. but the boss battles are really frustrating in this game, and so I'm sorry, but if you're playing it on nub mode like I am, I should be able to beat the boss battles a lot easier than this.
Lol. I want to
Lols.
play this when I come out there.
Yes, you can.
Will you hold my hand?
Yes. Just
Thank
don't
you.
scream like a little girl, because that's my job. Okay, so I did go back and I mentioned last week that I completed Metro 2033 Redux. Well, this past week I played through and completed Metro Last Light Redux. And I have to say, I had forgotten how fucking awesome the Metro games are. And, you know, for a fiver, £2.50 a game, you can't go wrong. I don't know if they're still on sale now, but fucking awesome games. Still hold up graphically really, really well now. Gameplay wise, super great. Like, it's just, you know, like in the 360 era, we had the shitloads of first person shooters, which are just kind of like an 8-hour experience. You kind of like fully story driven. You just follow a path. For me, it's just great. It just killed time. I had a really good experience. Completed the game, and I was done. You know, and it was just good fun. So if you have the opportunity to play that, do it. It's awesome.
I kind of wonder what that development studio is actually doing now, because like the last Metro game was a good 2-3 year ago, if not more.
Well, apparently there is rumours of a new one
them,
coming out this year.
Yeah, both of them were lookers when they came out at the time.
Yeah.
Like and everything. I think if they decided to take that game in more of an RPG route, I could see that working really well.
Yeah.
Because they're quite exploratory anyway in their approach to obviously scavenging for ammunition and exploration.
Yeah. Well, they actually made them a bit easier with the Reduxes. I never struggled for ammo at all. So, I only struggled a bit for filters for a short part of it, but not really loads of it.
Yeah,
so.
I think as well it's another one of those development teams that can produce these fine-looking games with like a quarter of the budget of most sort of AAA titles.
Yeah. No, you know, it's just I had a really good time with it. I was actually quite blown away at how good it looked, to be quite honest. So, yeah, fun times. Another game, I actually bought a new game this week. A new old game. The BioShock Trilogy remaster for the Xbox One.
Oh, yeah.
It was on sale on the Xbox store for 30 quid,
Yes.
so my mind...
Didn't you get this for free on the PC?
No.
We should have done.
All right, I saw you did.
If you had the original,
no, because I never had the originals on PC, so I had them on Xbox, didn't
fair
I?
enough.
So...
That might have been Elliot.
I think that was Elliot because I can see them on his library because we library share on Steam. Yeah, so my mind it was broken down to a tenner a game. I've only played the first BioShock so far. I've played it for a couple of hours. And again, they've done a really good job with the remaster on that because it looks like a current gen game. It really, really does. And
it was good back in the day, to be honest.
Yeah.
Graphically,
Yeah.
I don't think they've enhanced it that much. I think it was well ahead of its time. I think.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I forgot how freaky the game was, though. There's some moments in there where it's just like fucking hell. You know, it's a bit like a horror game at times.
Yeah,
it is a proper dark dystopia going on there, isn't
yeah, but like that, like the thing that always stuck in my mind with the original BioShock was the opening scene with the plane crash, and then you're just swimming towards that lighthouse, and then you go in there. There's like that iconic scene, and for me, it was like I played it again. I was like, fucking hell! Now I remember why I love this game. And
what about the? Ooh.
Yeah, with the big daddies, yeah. So yeah, it is cool. I think the shooting's a little bit wonky on it, but
yeah, it was never the thing, was it? It was the atmosphere and the feeling. I mean, obviously we all first played that, we'd never played like a weird Art Deco underwater shooter like that ever, sort of a thing. And they're the kind of sort of first person shooters I like now, ones with a bit of character, a bit of interest in the locations and stuff, rather than generic sort of style, sort of war type ones.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm glad I bought it because I really like the last one I played. Infinite was amazing, but I'm saving the best for last. So
apart from the end,
it was still alright. Did you play the DLCs?
Yeah, I did all of Bioshock Infinite. The only thing I didn't like was the songbird bit at the end, trying to kill that flipping thing.
Oh yeah.
That was a
Oh, yeah,
ball
that was a
ache. I
ball
did
ache.
it.
Yeah.
But did you ever do that? Because you didn't do it, did you, Darren?
No, I did soldier through it. I just grit my teeth and sat there screaming for about 30
There
minutes.
was an actual like
until it
knack
was done.
to it, which actually made that end boss really, really easy from
Oh,
what
was
I remember.
there?
So, yeah, I actually like. I remember I loved Infinite so much. I went out to game and bought the game again just for the statue. I bought the collector's edition for the Songbird statue.
You got this? Have you still got that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Still in the box, mate. It's awesome that. That's awesome that statue. One of the best collector's editions I actually own. So.
I don't.
Leave it to hand because you could probably club someone to death with that if they ever broke into your house.
Mm.
I've
No,
got the
that's what-
original
Yeah.
Bioshock, like the Big Daddy. I've got that.
I love the Big Daddies. They're so cool.
Yeah, I've got that original. That came with the original limited edition Bioshock somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's in the box somewhere. So.
Nice. And I've really only played a couple more games this week, which I'm going to quickly rip through. I've been playing golf with friends on Steam with Elliot. That's still fun. Just playing some golf. So that's all I want to say. On Elliot's Steam library, he's got a game, like an indie game called Her Story, which he's been banging on about. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's one of the best indie games ever. Oh my god, this game is so shit. It's unbelievable. I don't know why people rate this, because I know like on a lot of websites it was rated as like the best indie game of the year or something like that.
I think it's like the narrative, wasn't it?
Fucking
and
crap,
stuff.
man. You watch a load of videos like of an interview of this woman, and then you have to pick out words that she's saying and then type them into this search thing on this FBI computer to bring up more videos, and there's actually no ending to this game, so you basically just spend forever just watching these videos. Snooze fest, boring, no thank you, see you later. So that game
gonna
is
want to
crap.
come on here at some point, slag
Yeah.
you off.
Yeah. And the last game I've been playing is Vermintide on PC. I think you've got it on the PS4, Switch.
No, Xbox actually.
You got it on Xbox? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that on PC, playing with randoms. Did a mission with Elliot this past week as well. Fun game, man. Really, really fun.
Yeah, it's great. It was a criminally overlooked game when it came out, but obviously when it did hit the consoles, it was slightly rife with bugs at the time. Which I think most of them have been ironed out now.
I don't think it's overlooked on PC because it's actually very popular in the PC community.
Well, on the PC, it was out almost a year before on the PC. So when it was released for the consoles last year, it was like the definitive edition with all of the bells and DLC and stuff.
The thing is, though, like on the PC, you can get it. You could, like last month, it was in a humble bundle for like a £5, whereas on the consoles it's still like 40 quid. So, you know.
Yeah, but it's boxed, so it's worth that 40 quid.
Yeah, okay, if you say so. Yeah, so that is actually all I've played this week. Been quite busy, so I'm looking forward. I want to play some more Battlefield this week, so if people can load up their Xboxes and join me, that would be quite fun. Yeah, that's all I can think of to play online with people at the moment. Apart from Forza, maybe a little bit of Armour on the PC would be nice.
Isn't on beta out this week?
Yeah, I think it's at the end of the month. I can't remember the dates.
End of the month. I didn't know if it was like next weekend or something.
Might be. I don't know if I'm actually going to play it because I kind of played a lot of the closed beta. I really enjoyed
you don't
it.
burn yourself out.
So, and I do know that in this open beta they've opened up another part of the map as well, but I kind of want to save myself for the full game now. So,
yeah. I've noticed there's quite a lot of games nowadays have become a bit more spoilery. I mean, back when I was younger, I used to quite like buying imported games because obviously magazines would show off so much games before you used to get them, and this was back when obviously they'd be like scrolling beat 'em ups and stuff, and they'd only have obviously so many levels and stuff, so you're almost spoilt on half the content before you actually got to play it. That's why when I picked up back in the day like Resident Evil 4, like an American import for the GameCube, I was absolutely blown away with it because it was nothing like what the early trailers and stuff they'd showed us that it was like. Is they'd done a complete rehaul since those early reveals and everything. And then I think it was about a month later when some of the magazines in pictures and stuff of it, I noticed in one of the previews they actually show you a picture of the last boss of the game. You wouldn't have obviously known that at the time, but when you've obviously played it, it's a bit of a spoiler. And nowadays, like I've seen already, like people like watch us play the first hour and a half of Horizon Zero Dawn stuff, and it's like, no, I want to save that for when I play it. Thank you. Understand like seeing too much or something. So I can fully understand why you'd want to stay away from the beta. It was like a bit similar to Division as well, where you sort of like you play it and almost had to stop yourself from playing more because you wanted to wait for the game.
Yeah, so that's all I've played. So if anyone else got anything they want to mention before we end? Or
the meetup.
Yes. How could I forget about the meetup? So 1st of April is Rezzed in London at the Tobacco Docks. It's like a Euro game.
Whopping?
Wapping.
Anyway, it's in London at the Tobacco Docks. It's like Eurogamer but smaller. It looks actually quite good this year. They've got some quite good games. They've got Ken Levine doing a talk there as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it looks quite interesting. You can get your tickets online. Just Google Rezzed. But Collie Wally is flying over from America to come to the expo.
I'm coming.
Woo!
So you're addicted now, Colin, aren't you?
Yes, I've got my first taste. Gotta have another. Twice in 1 year.
I know.
I'm mental.
So that's going to be cool. So we're all going to do a meetup. Have we decided on a pub yet or not? Are we going to put that up on the clearing? Are we going to do that closer to the time or?
Yeah. Well, Dan was supposed to be doing that, but the trouble is Dan's still in the pub.
Yes. I couldn't actually really recall seeing many pubs around that area because Tobacco
Have you
Dock
been
was
to
the
Pink Flamingo?
Where's that?
There are a couple in there. The Prospect of Whitby, the Town of Ramsgate, the Captain Kidd. Anyway.
So anyway, so if any of you listeners want to meet up on the 1st of April in London, even if you don't want to come to the show, because we'll probably only be in the show for a few hours before we hit the pub anyway, we will put up which pub we're going to. Well, we will announce it on the show, but if you join our Facebook group, if you're not in it, there's a group event in the Facebook group for this meetup anyway. So it'll be a nice opportunity to meet up with everybody again in London, have some drinks, take the piss out of each other.
We're out all night as well, so it's not like we're out for just a couple of hours. We're there from, well, I'm going to be there from most probably about midday-ish onwards, all the way through to the evening. Might have to just disappear for an hour just to drop my bag off. But yeah, I'll be there till the end of the night.
Pimp Shui. I say we Pimp Shui.
Yeah, we might go to Pimp Shui, which is a place we've been to before, which is like it's got all ghetto blasters
Retro Kung Fu arcade bar.
Oh, is that the Kung Fu bar?
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
Oh, that was so cool!
Point blank arcade.
All right, and as I say, on the day, if all of us are going to have our phones on us, so we will tweet where we are anyway. So if you want to catch up with us, you'll be able to find us anyway.
We'll all be in our Mojo t-shirts and bright orange anyway. So
I can't wear mine; it's too small.
Oh, yeah, well, I still have an XL for you, or an L or whatever you wanted. I've still got your t-shirt here. I
should have got that when I came in last week.
That's all right. I've still got it, so it's fine.
I'll send Sly mine.
Steves will be there. Dan will be there. Most of the people who've been involved in hosting over the last 2 or 3 years, I think, will be there.
Yeah. So it'll be cool.
Join us.
It'll be fun times. Fun times. Yeah. So if anyone wants to do anything, I know because Colin lands on the Thursday. I can't remember what day it is now.
I land on the Wednesday.
So you land on the Wednesday and you're going home on the Monday. So we're going to be doing some other stuff during the other times anyway. So that'll be fun. Fun times. Gonna go and get some English culture. Shall we do some questions?
Please.
Yes.
Okay. Nigel Arnold says, do you think we will see a new Elder Scrolls single-player game announced this year? Skyrim was released in 2011.
No, because I think we got a Morrowind online, haven't we now?
Ugh.
But
Yeah.
they do need to.
No,
the next
that's just
Skyrim
an
game needs, or no, Elder Scrolls game needs to be announced. Hopefully, that's what they're working on.
Yeah, because Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
Online is just shit. They should never have done it in the first place.
Did it sell
It's
well?
still got its fans. It's still got its
Mm.
fans.
Yeah,
I've worked
all
with a few
10
people
fans.
that really love
Yeah.
it.
It's just so rubbish. I mean, it says it all when I picked up on the Xbox for £4.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it for
Yeah.
about 20 minutes, and it was the worst 20 minutes of my life that I'll never get back.
The worst 20 minutes of your life.
I would have rather been sitting there watching paint dry than playing that game. It is that bad.
What's wrong with it then? I mean, it's
just
quite
shit.
a big world, isn't it?
It's just shit.
The problem with it, well, the big problem I had is when you first set up the game, you have to go into a faction. And the problem you have is if I pick a faction and say Webby starts the game and he doesn't pick the same faction as me, we can't play the game together.
Oh, right.
So you then got to restart the game again with the same faction. They should have made it so you can, change or whatever halfway through the game, which you can't. So
I think they may have actually changed that or something.
Well, the other problem I had as well, which I did because I played a little bit of it, was that say you went into like a dungeon era. You go into this dungeon place, you got a monster in there. The problem is you'll go in there to kill the monster, but there'll be a load of people already in there. They're all higher level than you, and you're like, oh, they've killed the monster. I haven't got anything to do. So you then go to the next area. You just go to the next area, and you go to the next
again.
area. Yeah.
See, this is why people need to fuck these MMOs off and all join us on Final Fantasy 14.
Which is an MMO.
Which is the best MMO ever made.
Yeah, but you just said fuck them all off.
Yeah, fuck them all off apart from Final Fantasy. That's all you got to do. That's all I got to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so next question is from Chris Bloomdahl. I think I said Broomdahl. I don't know. Anyway, Chris, have you guys considered bringing on a female co-host?
Hello.
Unless she does a turn.
I don't know. I haven't had Leon on for a while, actually. So, she's been on. Who else have we had on in the past? A couple people.
Had a couple. Yeah.
Well, guest hosts, everyone's, just guests.
We haven't had any on. I only Leon. That's the only one I've ever had on. Well, not you know what I mean.
Yeah. So we would if more women actually played video games, but
or just didn't think we were complete and utter cocks.
Yeah,
supposed to be.
That's what it is.
Or what was it? Chauvinistic pigs. That's what I like to be called.
Supposed to be 50-50 though, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't think podcast. I don't think a lot of girls listen.
No.
It was almost pretty much 50-50 at the convention today over the weekend.
What if it's any of those ones? Where were they from? Colin, you said from that.
What are you on about?
That where was that country that we had 6 listeners?
Singapore? No, Nigeria.
Nigeria. Yeah, I wonder if any of them would be...
Jesus.
Yeah. Hello to our Nigerian listeners.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so because we host the podcast through Leipzig, and they give us a breakdown of how many people listen, and you get a map, and it tells you where people listen as well. So it's quite interesting. So yeah, all over the world, man. Yeah, crazy times. Our biggest fan base in the UK is in Scotland. More people listen in Scotland in the UK than anywhere else.
Must be Carson's mates.
Yeah. So that is quite interesting. So we might have to get a Scottish person on. Which will be quite cool. Because when we had Tay on, he kind of disappeared. So. Okay. Where am I? Okay, David Wilson. What are some good 6 to 8 hour games, old or new? Wow, you just need to buy every 360 game pretty much.
Listen to our podcast for the last year.
That's it. Metro, that's a good one. There you go. That's that answered. Paul Simpkins says, "Is the game preview program worth it with some games still in the preview stage over a year on?" I think I've only played like one game in the preview program. I can't remember what it was because it was really shit, so I deleted it. It might have been the Ark game. No, I certainly don't do it. I certainly don't do it with Steam either, because Steam have their kind of preview program as well. But they have their games in development for like 2 years or more on there.
Isn't the latest Elite game still in the preview program type thing? Like it's constantly being changed and ordered.
It's full release.
Yeah, and I think the was it Sea of Thieves? I think that's going to be a preview game as well, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I believe so.
What was that other game that was a preview game that was on the Xbox, which still hasn't been released? The one that was a bit Bioshocky sort of.
Oh, We Happy Few.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I don't know. Because it was awful.
It came out in pre-release, yeah. Not many people liked certain things with it, and I don't know what it's done since.
It's a shame because when they were showing We Happy Few off, I was really excited for that game. I was thinking, oh man, this is going to be cool. And then I played the preview version of that, and I was like, oh my god, this is awful. Yeah. So, not good.
I mean, preview things generally work pretty fine on, say, like PC and Steam and stuff, but I'm not too sure about consoles.
See, this is the problem with consoles now. They're trying to turn them into PCs, and it just doesn't work. Console gamers are a different breed to PC gamers. You know, like console gamers, we're hardcore. We love our games.
We're uber hardcore, man.
But we like to chill out on our sofa, play games. We just want to stick a disc in or download a game and play. Whereas PC gamers are like, we're doing all our settings just so we can get the graphics and
I've got it on ultra.
Yeah. So I've fallen into a little bit of that trap with my PC, to be quite honest with you. But I will not sit there for hours on end, like messing with settings just so I can see some extra blades of grass and all this shit. I just think that's fucking sad. I want to play the game, but you do want it to look as good as you can, but not spend fucking all that time doing it. So, yeah. That's all the questions anyway. Any questions from you guys? Any news before we end?
No. I can think of.
Okay, cool. So who's going to join me on Battlefield? Tumbleweed. Alex, are you going to buy an Xbox now?
I will be buying a PS4.
Yeah.
I hate you. You're never coming back on again.
It won't be till April, though.
That's fair.
I've got the Switch coming up, in a couple of weeks. Make the most of that.
So why are you getting a PS4 over an Xbox? I'm just intrigued at this proposition.
I think there's more exclusives, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Fair. Yeah, there's definitely more exclusives. Yep.
And I've heard what you
as well.
Just listening to what you guys say. I mean, I think the hub's better as well, isn't it? Isn't it easy access?
Oh yeah. Well,
the UI.
I
love the UI.
I mean, I'm not interested in the whole media thing with all the different TV channels and shit like that. All that shit, I don't care about. I've got all that on my TV. I don't need the console to do all of that. And I'm glad that they're not going to do that on the Switch. It's quite a simple, plain-looking hub.
This is the difference, because I use my Xbox for... I've got my Virgin box plugged into it, so I watch my TV for it. I use Netflix, Amazon Video. I use my Plex media streaming on it. And that's like, just because it's convenient. The box is there, it's on. I can just like turn a game off and just watch all my other media for it.
You can do that on the PlayStation.
You can also do that on the PS4. Yeah. You got the Plex, you got all those apps as well. So they're very similar in that respect. It just doesn't have the TV in. So in that respect, they're actually very similar consoles. Just that Microsoft seemed to advertise it a lot more than Sony did. As I said in the last shows, if I didn't have a large friend base on my Xbox to game with, I would go play PS4 over Xbox all day because of the exclusives, and the exclusives are more my jam, with the JRPGs and so forth.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't really game a lot online on the Xbox anymore because no one's ever on fucking line to game with, or they're not interested. you know, I'm kind of like on a bit of a downer with the Xbox a little bit at the moment.
Yeah,
anyway,
I had the Xbox 360, and I thought that was superior over the PS3. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought
yeah.
that was a
Miles,
fucking
miles
awesome
ahead.
system. I've sold it all now. The Xbox 360. I ain't got any games, or I ain't even got the console anymore. But you know, I do want to get my teeth into something big, you know, and something new.
Heroes of the Storm.
I do like, yeah. I just like new experiences. You know, I love gaming. I just fancy the PS4 and that game that Switch was on about last week. I mean,
Oh no.
I saw the posters of it in game today, and I thought, yeah, man, I'll have a piece of that.
Yeah, Neo looks good. You got Nier Automata next week. Oh, I forgot to mention.
What is Neo? It's like a Dark Souls.
Yeah,
Have
it's
I?
like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I
Neo's a
played
bit
Dark
like
Souls.
a Ninja Dark Souls, is it? By the looks
Ninja
of it.
Gaiden, cross
Yeah.
between Onimushu and
It looks awesome. It
yeah.
looks fucking awesome.
Did any of you guys play Onimushu?
No.
Yeah, on the.
Oh,
No, I never
it.
played that back in the day. I don't know why I missed it.
That was a great game. That was.
So I just wanted to say sorry that I played the Nier Automata demo as well this past week.
Didn't you play that last week?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention it again. It's fucking awesome.
All right, you replayed it.
Day one.
Back on the console thing, I was actually having a conversation with this about my with a friend the other week actually, and I actually think it's a pretty cool thing that all three companies now are seemingly doing something different with their machines. Whereas in the gen before, the PS3 and the 360 were basically exactly the same. They pretty much just ran off their own exclusives to a certain. Whereas now, this gen, you've got a console that's obviously more focused towards the media aspect along with gaming. You've got a console that's mainly for gaming, and now you've obviously got a console that's for gaming and gaming on the go.
And I think there's room for all.
Switch, yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously, if you love games and you want to play all of them, you're going to pick them all up eventually.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice that they're all getting their own identities so people can pick what suits them.
You wouldn't want all of the same, would you, really?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point?
I mean, a lot of people slagged off the Switch, like, when it came out, thinking, oh, well, it's this and it's not that, because they just wanted a console. And it's like, well, it's going to be trying to do the exact same things the other machines have been doing for the last so many years, and how's it going to find its own like little niche of that market? It's not. It needs to identify itself as something slightly different from the others, and that's what it's done.
It's good having, if you can have three consoles all doing different things. I mean, as I say, people are slagging off the Switch. It's not even bloody out yet, and they're still, oh, we got a cow jerking game. Yeah, so it's different.
I think for all of us who love gaming as much as we all do, and we love talking about it, I think we should all have at least two consoles each.
Yeah.
You know,
I think a lot of it
there's room for both.
I mean, I know money is a factor, but I think the biggest factor for a lot of people, though, is the time factor. So for me, I've got a PS4, an Xbox One, a Wii U. I've got the older consoles, and I've got a PC as well. And I do struggle to find time to game on all the systems, and for some reason the PlayStation 4, even though I've got a load of great games to play on that, it's just kind of the console for me that kind of get the short end of the stick. It goes on the back burner. I don't really seem to turn it on as much.
You've got more community aspect with the Xbox though, haven't you? You always have. So for you, I mean, you got to remember, you come from, I mean, I must admit, I did have quite a community aspect on the Xbox, but it sort of drifted away from myself these days.
Yeah, but for me, the community aspect has kind of drifted as well. Like, I remember when I could go on Twitter or whatever and be like, or just turn on my Xbox and be like, right, I'm going to load up Battlefield, and I will have, within 20 minutes, I'll have a full squad of people. I turn on a multiplayer game now, and no one joins me. No one accepts party chats. No one can be asked, because I think people just want to do their own thing now. You know, and that's fair, but, you know, I just think that's a sign of us getting old.
For
it's
me,
the type of games we play as well.
I'm quite selective at what I pick up now. I mean, I know you guys have been playing probably as long as I have, but surely you've got an idea now what game is going to suit you and what you're going to like. I mean,
my problem, Alex, is I like most games.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, within like an hour of playing the game, you think, right, this is not that great. If I can get rid of this and go back to the one I was playing before, which was a lot better. Or do you think, well, I've bought it now, let's just get through to the end. to me, that's a waste of my time. I would rather stop playing, sell it on, and go back to a game I want to finish.
Shit. Mm.
See, I used to be like that when I rented games, and this is why I don't rent anymore.
For the Chivos.
Because I used to for the Chivos. I mean, I've got a really awesome gamer score. Peebs has beaten me now, though. But I used to play games like that. Like I'd be like, "Oh, I'll just play to the end for the Chivos," but then I would be rushing because I want to post it back to get the next game. And I'm actually finding now I'm being more selective with the games I buy. I'm enjoying gaming a lot more.
Yeah, better way to be, mate.
So like loads of games are coming out, and I'm just not buying them. And I'm quite glad at that because I'm like, I won't buy that because I've got all these other great games to play at the moment, and it's a good way to be, and I feel a lot better for it. So
yeah, I mean, I picked up that Project Zero for the Wii U, thinking, right, it's an expensive game, everyone's all over, it's got to be good. I played for about half an hour and thought, this is fucking shit. I don't care what price tag it's got. This is a shit game. Yeah, and I sold it. And I went, last night I was up playing Super Turbo Game for Super Nintendo till 1 o'clock in the morning, thinking this is a badass game. This is the nuts. I'm absolutely loving this. You know, that's all I want. You know, I know straight away what game I'm going to enjoy. And if I don't like it now, I'll fuck it off and get something.
Speaking about old school shooters, you were saying on the Super Nintendo that used to suffer from slowdown. There was an awesome one I used to love back in the but suffered from quite a lot of slowdown because of the types of graphic effects it used. Axley. Not too bad though. Switch. I mean, not as bad as some. That plays all right actually. I mean, that's a cross between Vertical and sort of. That's a fantastic game. So it's got like Salamander. It's taking aspects from Salamander. So great soundtrack.
Loads of Mode 7. I didn't notice. It's not too bad. I mean, I know games that are a lot worse than that with slowdown.
Yeah, Parodius especially quite a bit as well.
But Axley's probably one of the best shooters on the SNES because it's got that whole Mode 7 stuff going on. Yeah, that's a fantastic game. It really is.
I just want to ask though. I just want to chime in.
Konami were on top of their game.
I just want to chime in quick. We've missed a release that came out this week. Halo Wars 2 is out, and
is that this week? I didn't know.
No one is interested. Sly Ullman's been rinsing it.
We can't say that, yeah, because Sly's picked it up. So
Sly's been playing it, and he's been rinsing it. But like, it's out. Like, and I used to be like, a new Halo game. Anything that said Halo, I'd be like, day one, take my fucking money, yes please. Now I'm like. It's Halo. I can't be arsed.
Yeah, because you know what sort of game it's going to be, don't you? And you've probably got another game on the go that you'd rather be playing. You know, it depends where you are with games. If you just finish one, you fancy a new game, you probably go and get it. What is it like? Is it like XCOM or something?
So it's a top-down. So it's a bit like Command and Conquer sort of game, but with Halo. You know, the troops and the vehicles.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
The last Halo Wars was actually really, really good. And this Halo Wars 2 has actually been getting really good reviews. But I just find myself personally, I'm just not in it. I don't know why I'm not interested. And one thing that really has turned me off on it is obviously, like, because I buy all my games on digital, so I can buy it on Xbox and play it on my PC, which is great because I'll be like, I can use my keyboard, my mouse, because that's the sort of game it is. But it doesn't have cross-play, so if I'm playing on my PC, I can't play against my mate on the Xbox. Why the fuck not? That's just ridiculous. You know,
is that essential to you then to play online with another player? Because to me, it's not.
Well, yeah, because I want to play like co-op with my mates or online with my mates. And the thing is, like, Microsoft at the moment are like trying to merge the PC and the Xbox ecosystems to be this one mega Xbox Live universe, which is great. You know, crack on and do it. But if you are on your PC and you can't play against your mate who's playing the same game on the Xbox, that just fucking makes it redundant, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there needs to be a convergence.
Yeah, there does. You know, I'm quite happy to play. You know, I have an Xbox, so I'm quite happy. But I've got mates who don't have an Xbox, but they will buy the games on their super awesome, powerful PCs. But then I won't be able to game with them. It's just pointless.
Yeah, do you think think this is anything to do with the fact of, like, say, in a competitive aspect, they don't want the person on the PC to have an advantage over the person on the Xbox with, like, the lower frame rate? Or
No, because on a game like Halo was, it's like a Command and Conquer type game. So
Surely they're shooting
why not?
themselves in the foot then, really, aren't they? If they're trying to make it the same as a PC, surely people just go and buy a PC then, wouldn't they? Like you've done. Why buy an Xbox?
I don't like the.
Well, because PCs are quadruple the cost of an Xbox, yeah?
Well, not really. Not if you make it yourself. You can make it up yourself for 500 quid.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did, and my PC's uber powerful.
Yeah.
And it runs on Ultra.
And everything runs on Ultra, so awesome stuff. But yeah, it just makes me wonder why Microsoft would do that. I mean, I know the old adage is, oh, well, we've got keyboard and mouse, so we will destroy anyone on console on a first-person shooter. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that, because I play Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege on PC with an Xbox 360 controller, and I pwn the nubs. So, in my opinion, it's bullshit. So,
moving on before you start getting into a fanboy situation.
Well, it's not a fanboy situation because I'm trying to get the systems, understand why the systems don't meld.
Yeah.
You know.
Didn't For Honor come out this week as well?
For Honor came out this week, and I'm not interested in it.
What's the premise of that game?
Everyone I know, I wasn't interested in this game, but there's people on our Facebook group saying, I picked this up, it's fucking awesome. And it's been getting some quite good reviews as well, so it's piqued my interest. I won't be picking it up because there's just too many games to buy at the minute.
Isn't there a demo you can play of it?
There was.
They had an open beta. It seems interesting, but again, because of the amount of games coming out in March, it's just not worth it for me. So, but it looks cool. It does look cool. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I've heard it's online only, even in the fact that it's got like a sort of like single player campaign.
Well, I've read a review that said
to mini missions.
Apparently, the single player campaign is good, but it serves as just a really long tutorial for the multiplayer.
Based like what it did with Siege, to be honest.
Yeah, so it looks cool, but can you really justify spending 40 quid on a game when you've got so much stuff coming out in a couple of weeks' time? In my household, no. So
who's using the popcorn machine?
I don't know. So somebody.
No, sorry, I was just looking for a bag. Just found a bag in my drawer. What the fuck's in that?
We do have a question from Five Large Fries, who's listening live on our Twitch stream as well.
Good old Five Large
Hello,
Fries.
Carl. How's it going? He asked a very good question, actually. Is anyone hyped for Prey?
I quite like the look of it. It looks good. It looks like a Dishonored, BioShock, that kind of style game. But yeah, it looks good.
I'm interested now. I mean, I really enjoyed the original Prey on the 360. I thought it was a very niche title. I really enjoyed it. They've completely reinvented the game for this, and it's out in May, June time. And they've just released a new trailer this week, which I watched twice, and it looks really, really good. And I'm quite surprised at how good it looks, because it's been delayed God knows how many times. It's been through 2 or 3 different studios because of closures and layoffs and all that sort of stuff. And I personally believe that they're going to come good with this game, and it's going to be fucking brilliant. So, for me, day one purchase, definitely. It looks brilliant.
Is it in Arcane's hands now, isn't it? The Dishonored team.
So. Yeah, I think so.
Is it actually in there? Oh, okay.
I'm not going to say 100% because I don't know. I'm hoping Carl will type in the chat in a minute. But it looks interesting.
Of people who've been on the For Honor train, I know Carl's been enjoying it a lot from his Twitter feed.
Yeah. Yeah, so originally Prey was actually going to be like a sequel to the first one, and it was going to be set in space as a bounty hunter game. And I remember seeing the trailers for that, and it piqued my interest, but that's like completely out the window now. So check the trailer out if you can. It looks really, really cool. So I'm interested. And it's nice to have good games coming out in the middle of the year, like summertime, so they're not all in that kind of launch window of Christmas time. So that's awesome. And had it confirmed, it's Arcane Studios. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you know it's going to be quality from those guys anyway. So
Yeah, it looks like quite a few different sort of games together. There's like aspects of Alien Isolation, Dead Space, sort of things like that. I find when I sort of saw the earlier trailers, I obviously haven't seen the latest one.
Yeah, well, check it out, man. It looks cool. So yeah, I'm excited. It's piqued my interest. I'm excited. Yeah. That's all the questions, guys. So shall we end it on that high?
Yes.
We've been like 2.5 hours.
Cool.
Wow.
That's a long show for us. We normally keep it to 2 as a maximum, but you know, it's been good conversations
Blame
tonight.
Alex.
No, it's been really interesting.
Running on.
It's been really good having Alex on today. But it's actually that story about Sky Skipper was really interesting. So thank you very much
thanks,
for that.
mate.
It's it's great, and we look forward to having you on again in the future as well for some more. Buddy. Always interested to hear these stories. It brings a new dynamic to the show, makes it really, really interesting. So
cheers, buddy.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. So anyway, that's the end of the show. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PSN ID, and Steam ID, Webby317.
Goodbye, Collie Wally.
And from me, number 1 Stuntmaster.
And from me, Nintendo Arcade, Alex.
Auf Wiedersehen, Sensei Switch.
So thank you very much. Don't forget to visit the website mojo-interactive.net. You can find us on Twitter at mojo_int. Or even better, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Mojo Interactive. So thank you very much. We will see you next week. Goodbye. Yay.
Yeah.
That was
Cheers,
good.
You keep forgetting the Discord group.
Oh, well, I don't have a thing for that because when you have the shortcut for it, it's like a load of random numbers and letters. I'm not going to sit here and read that out, am I?
Yeah. I mean, it should just be posted in the Facebook group.
It was in the Facebook group, but then it kind of drops down, doesn't it? Unless I pin it.
When I was walking around the the festival over the weekend, bar obviously a lot of people wearing like Twitch t-shirts and stuff are obviously sponsored and things like that. I see a lot of people with Discord stuff on as well. So it's slowly gaining all the time in gaming communities.
See, Colin was ahead of the curve on that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a chat system, isn't it? For text chat and talk chat and stuff like that. It's perfect.
Yeah, because Switch was posting all the Final Fantasy news in our
I didn't want to
free company chat.
Because I know not everyone's interested.
No, it was interesting, man. And hopefully it will revitalise Final Fantasy 14 because to be honest, I'm a little bit bored on it at the moment. I've got nothing to do. So
there's a new patch coming out in 2 weeks' time.
Good.
What will the patch deliver, Switch?
New story stuff.
I remember now. Oh, new relic quest, which won't interest you if you didn't do the relic. I think it's like new delivery missions for crafters and gatherers, so that won't interest you either.
I'm just interested in the story content because I just like to fight bitches. So
yeah, well then I think the next story patch is due around March time, I believe, and that's going to introduce us to the new character. Is it Go Tetsu or something? Who was featured in the trailer at the end next to Yagiri.
Cool.
So the next patch is going to be really good story-wise because it's going to tie in things with Alamigo. It's going to tie in stuff possibly with the Doma and why we'll be going over there, and also it's internet stuff with Omega Weapon as well.
Sweet.
Right, guys, I'm going to shoot.
Yeah, I'm going to go as well because I've got some Battlefield to play, so all on my own.
Again, thanks for having us on, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Pleasure.
Fun times.
Take care.
See you later.
See you guys.
Sweet, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, Tati, bye.